won't speak for a couple of weeks. I'll be in his place till he calls and says he's sorry. This situation's on repeat, just like a scratch on a CD. It just gets deeper when you hit rewind. How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and it's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, what you holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than your rescue? I'm feeling kinda used, yeah, like a drug that you take when you're sick of crying all your tears away. Is that all I am? All I want is for you to be happy. You know this ain't healthy. Do I make you happy? How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and it's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, what you holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than your rescue? I'm doing everything he doesn't do, but I'm still not enough. Even your parents know I'm good for you, but I'm still not enough. You wanna be done with him, you're stuck with him, 'cause you don't have the guts. And after all I've done, I'm still not enough. Still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than your rescue?
Welcome, everybody, back to the ESL Challenger League, where we've got a very fluffy matchup ready for you between the AIMERS of that name and the Evil Geniuses. I'm Darth Mike. This is Mr. JRT. How you doing tonight, John?
I'm doing all right. Ready for this matchup, honestly. We've seen Evil Geniuses a couple of times so far this season, more than a couple, right? They played 5 matches, but the problem with them has been they haven't seemed to adapt it to CS2 very well. Things are going a little rough for them. They're a very methodical team. They're going to take apart teams who are more puggy very easily, but I feel like something needs to be adjusted on their side to get into that CS2 rhythm.
It's definitely taken them a little bit of a beat longer than you would have expected. Well, honestly, it matches what you would have expected based on what we know of EG.
Yes.
They take their time with things. They like to develop. They don't really like the fast run and gun in your face style that's predominated the early days of CS2. But up against a team like the Fluffy AIMERS, you got to imagine they're going to have this in whack. They're going to have more control in. I mean, we could take a look at the standings to get a sense of where these two teams are at in this season. Let's hop on in over there. Fluffy AIMERS actually sitting at 4-3. Have a pretty solid record. They've been good. They just haven't necessarily met the same caliber of competition as Evil Geniuses have, sitting at 3-2.
Yeah.
And there's definitely still something to be proved. EG's losses coming to Nouns, which was a little more expected, and then Unjustified. That one to me was the surprise here, John.
Yeah, I mean, Unjustified are a decent team. Let's not be mistaken here, but they're more middle of the road. We don't consider EG there. We consider EG at the top tier of ECL, and they're not really performing at that level if you're losing to a team like Unjustified, which brings concerns again when you're playing a team like Fluffy AIMERS. Also, for the Fluffy AIMERS, yes, 4-3. Against Nouns, they did lose 0-2, 9-13 on Ancient, 7-13 on Mirage, but they were missing one of their two top fraggers. Sacrifice wasn't there, and it was I taking his place. Nothing against I mean, he's a pretty decent fragger, but he's not Sacrifice. So they were missing that power, that potent firepower that would have helped them out against a team like Nouns. This time, Sacrifice is in the lineup.
He is indeed, but you still have those losses to Wildcard. They've also lost to Unjustified as well. So,
yes.
But that dates back to August and a different game. So it's tough to draw too much from these results, right? I mean, we've said it in a few different broadcasts now. Remember, you got to take this season with a grain of salt. We literally switched games halfway through it. Yeah. Things are weird. We had like a month of no games. It's just a bit of an odd season altogether. But this is where we're getting into the meat of the second point, and this is where we're hoping that, the more expected results are maybe going to come in. We're going to see teams separate. Let's take a look at the schedule for today. There is a match going on the B stream as well. So be sure to check that out. Reason Gaming taking on Badass Gaming to see who gets to keep the gaming moniker and who will have to drop it out of their tag.
Yeah, I'm going to favor Reason on this one. Badass, formerly Timberman, have really not looked too great over the past little bit. I think Consti might be playing for Badass tonight in place of Project. So I don't know how that will impact the results. Consti is a pretty good player, but at the same time, I still favor Reason. It just feels like Badass have really been falling off.
Yeah, it's been a little confusing, right? That team broke up, split up, blew up last season, then kind of came back together. Then some pieces left, some pieces came back.
Just so strange.
They're always a little bit of an interesting one to watch in terms of how some of the things go down. But that game will definitely be one to keep an eye on, especially for Reason's fate in the standings. But let's talk about the match that we've got in front of us. Evil Geniuses, Fluffy AIMERS. If the Fluffy AIMERS could pull this off, this would take them from being a punchy team in the mid-pack to being a genuine, legit playoff contender.
Which I think is possible. The issue with Fluffy AIMERS, though, is that they have, like I mentioned, they have those two strong players in Dia and Sacrifice, and after that, it kind of falls off in the fragging department. Jason, Peeping, and Lircy are more in supporting roles. Lircy is a great with flashes, great with utility. Peeping and Jason do the work on some entries, but it's mostly Dia taking care of the entry duties and the opening frag duties. So yeah, it's a team that has specialists in certain roles, and this is the kind of squad that I feel like the Evil Geniuses could do really well against, because if they can suffocate those two top fraggers, which typically they can with their style of play being so methodical, they should be okay. But yeah, as we mentioned, EG have looked a little out of sorts lately. The one thing you might think is, oh, the op is nerfed, right? It's a much more difficult to op. Junior's probably not playing as well. No, that's actually not the case. Junior is still putting up the same numbers he always has, and in fact looks just as impressive as he did in CSGO. It's the rest of the team that can't seem to pick up the pace, and more so the strategies, right? The consistency from round to round, that's an issue.
To me, I am curious to see what it looks like live in the server. I haven't been able to watch them live in quite some time. I don't think since the Switch, now that I think about it. Or no, we watched the Nouns game.
We
Never
did
mind.
watch,
They,
yeah, I
they
was
could
gonna
not
say.
handle it. Was live in the server. So I'm curious to see where they've gotten at this point, because that was immediately after the swap over.
Yeah.
Frankly, I would like to see Evil Geniuses let a couple of their players off the chain more. I think Hext and
Yes.
George can play this chaotic, in-your-face style if you give them the freedom to do so. If you take away some of the variables and just let them hunt, there's certainly players that are capable of it. It'd be cool to see.
Yeah, and George's numbers have actually jumped up a little bit since that match up against, I believe, was Carry Esports, Mythic, where they won 2-0, 13-2 on Mirage, and then 13-9 on Ancient. George was top fragging on Mirage, 17-7. I mean, that's a map like Mirage. You need to let him loose and let him go for those opening frags, go for those fights whenever he wants to. I agree with you 100%, Mike. That is something that the Evil Geniuses need to let themselves do a little more, be a little more wild, which George is very good at. As he mentioned, way back when he was on Nouns, he was excellent in that role. So I expect him to kind of thrive if they allow him to.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what they can do. Let's speak about the veto here, John, because it is a bit of an interesting one. We got a nuke taken out by the Fluffy Aimers. Evil Geniuses take out Anubis. We're going to get Ancient as FA's first pick, and then EG will take Overpass. And our decider, should we get to it, will be Mirage. How do you feel about this veto, John?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that Evil Geniuses are the favorites in this veto. They do play pretty well in Ancient. Yes, they lost against Nouns. If you look at that match, I'm like, oh, they're vulnerable. Not particularly, because they just defeated Mythic there, as I mentioned, 13-9. So I'd think that even though it's a pick coming through from Fluffy Aimers, EG will be up to the task there. But if you look at the Fluffy Aimers map pool, it's kind of Ancient, then nothing really else. So that's going to be a big problem for them. If they don't win Ancient, I think it's going to be a very tough ask for them to take this BO3. And then second map being Overpass. That used to be a strong map for Evil Geniuses, but lately it hasn't been. It just seems like it's slipped by the wayside. So we'll see if that one will turn out for them.
It is kind of the cycle of some teams, right? You got your strong maps, and then you stop practicing them because you think it's strong, and then you maybe get a little rusty on some things, and some people figure you out, and then it's like, okay, well, put that back in the scrim rotation.
Exactly.
Let's get this polished up. So we'll see. I'm very curious for this as a temperature check on Evil Geniuses.
Yes.
I think it's definitely a tough test. They can't take this lightly, and they've already got those 2 losses, right? So you just can't have too many more of them in this season if you want to be real contenders. And for Fluffy Aimers, a huge chance that they can take this dub to propel themselves up in our estimation, to make things very exciting on this season. We'll find out if they can do so when we come back from this break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
atmosphere, moving in synergy, this electricity, the power of the pioneers, tearing through history, this is our destiny. We are the power, we are the change, we are the pioneers of paradise of fame, and we push it louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers, we are the pioneers. We are the power, we are the change, we are the pioneers of paradise of fame, and we push it louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers, we are the pioneers, we are the power, we are the change, we are the pioneers of paradise of fame. We push it louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers, we are the pioneers.
Counter strike.
2.
That's all I got, John. Oh, he got the stinger.
Yeah.
Got in there for the stinger.
You
Evil
know
Genius
it.
is Fluffy Amers. It's ancient.
It is ancient. It is a pause immediately as we get into ancient. Actually, speaking of the map, I actually like the T-spawn ambience now. There's like some kind of singing going on. I don't think we're gonna hear it on stream, but I really
No,
do
we can.
enjoy. Oh, we can. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's there if we go over. If we go over to
Nice.
T-Spawn, you'll hear it.
No, it's nice. I really do enjoy the ambience, the little changes they made to the sound effects and everything. It is more pleasant to be on the map. And again, this map has always given me Aztec vibes, and I think even more so since the switch to CS2, which it means that it has grown on me a lot because I loved Aztec. Missed that map,
See it?
honestly.
Listen.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
It's like Ocarina vibes, to be
It's
honest.
exactly, yeah. It really is awesome to listen to.
Like, God, the water is so sexy.
It is, yes. It
CS2
is
water
also,
is so sexy. Look, they might have broken a lot of things, but God, did they make the water hot.
yeah, and it also destroys graphics cards, so that's fun.
You know, just buy a really expensive piece of machinery in order to render pretty water, okay?
I do, Mike.
Yeah,
So-
you always have the prettiest, shiniest card you can get your hands on.
Yes, I do. But even then, Mike, even with mine, I have a 3090. It still struggles.
Really?
At certain point. Yeah, there's something with the rendering of the water where if there's an explosion in it, lots of particles going up, it really does hit the frame rate hard. I don't know if it's improved since beta. I haven't really tested it since that point. Apparently, they tried to optimize it more, but yeah, there's something there.
I haven't noticed any issues, but I guess the only time I see explosions in water is either canals or Anubis or Overpass water.
I mean, there's just a lot of water in T-Spawn. I noticed it the most in T-Spawn Ancient.
You just don't drop nades very often in T-Spawn.
No, but when they're... Oh, it's been a while. Anyway, let's get into the action here. Evil Genius against the Fluffy AIMERS. I think our pick is Evil Genius's, Mike.
Yeah, that seems to be the safe money. George. Hopping a couple on through, looking for more, and this is a shutdown of a pistol round. Holy calzone. Jason trying to find some sort of hope, and he might have just done so.
Yeah.
1v2, players isolated. This is not impossible just yet. It was a 4v1. EG cannot let this one slip. Jason's just begging them to give him a fight, but so far, no dice.
I think the most important thing for the Evil Geniuses right now is try to group up at the very least, or go for a pincer attack. Do not go for 1v1 fights, because you could lose this round entirely.
They might honestly let him plant. If he just grabs the bomb and goes towards site, you can see from the setup, they're trying to avoid getting overwhelmed. Born was playing so passive.
I don't mind this either.
Look, you're not going to outpatience this team. So Jason's eventually going to have to make a move. And here he goes. Doesn't have armor. Just noticed that here. Makes it all the more impressive, frankly. He was the utility man.
I don't know where he's going to end up now. 27 seconds. He's going to the donut. Feels like he just wants to clear it and then go for the plant. Yeah, that is the plan. But by the time he gets back, look who's here. Hexed with the dualies, and this should be a freebie. It is. Only one shot required. Nice accuracy there. And 1-0 for EG.
I like him making it look good, you know?
Yeah.
I bought dualies, only going to use one bullet out of the 30 in the magazines, just to make sure that the dub comes through. Good pistol round on. Obviously, no bomb plant, so, you know, despite almost fumbling the 4v1, all is forgiven. All is good. You did your job, EG. Now you get to start well.
Yeah, which is great for them. I think for EG, you're playing a team like Fluffy AIMERS, who are middle of the pack in ECL. They need a convincing win for themselves here to build up that confidence in Counter-Strike too. So we'll see if they'll be able to find that. I think obviously the Fluffy AIMERS are going to put up a strong fight with Dia and Sacrifice leading that charge, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, wow. Good kill coming through from Automatic. A second as well. They're just going to take the initiative here off rip, fighting towards B main from the window peak. There was no presence mid, so why not? And George catching 2 from the tree means that once again, it is Jason just left alive. He's got a dig at least. We weren't expecting much from this round, but there is really nothing.
Like, yeah, 0 happened here. Jason couldn't even get out of spawn before all his team was completely annihilated. 2 going out towards A main, the other 2 around B. So now he's just kind of stranded in the wilderness, waiting for his fate to come to him. 1 minute left on the clock here. Jason, what are you going to do, man? What can you possibly hope for? Maybe one kill? There it is. There's one. A second, perhaps? No. Too much to ask for. Hex gets the last frag, and it is 2-0 for EG.
And you'll note Junior as well just bought the USP in that round. And by bought, I mean didn't buy.
Yeah.
Which is because he wants an op. He wants an op. He was confident in his teammates that his gun would not be required. And so now he's got the big green for the first gun round. This is something we've seen EG do quite a bit. It's unusual for current meta. I mean, some teams are even just staying away from the op altogether. I was watching Movistar Riders earlier today over in the European side. Martinez isn't buying the op anymore. At least on, I think it was Vertigo. He didn't buy it once. Mopla's actually up more than he did, and that's a radical departure from what we're used to seeing. So some teams are just completely fading away. Junior, he's not about that.
No. I mean, he's embracing it. He's number 2 in the league right now at op frags per round at 0.39, and 46.1% of his frags come with the op. I think that dropped a little bit from CSGO, but like maybe by 1 or 2%. Nothing major.
Who's number 1, though?
Number 1 is Kojimo.
Interesting. There you go. All right, America's Opper. Walco getting a couple big kills here. Learcy even gets tagged up a little bit more than expected. Off that, just random spam. So they are in a tough spot here. Fluffy Aimers down 2 already. No map control to speak of. Bomb lost in the clutches of the evil geniuses. And Learcy doesn't even have health to fight. Gun rounds don't start much worse than this. If you're a Fluffy Aimers fan. Dia, what are you going to be able to create? They're going to go for a window peek. I don't mind that. The problem is they're going to face it a Junior's op, right? It's a pretty good fight for the op. Even with some of the limitations of CS2, it's not going to be pushed off much by that. Dia, I guess. Sure. Is this a save? He just wants to listen to the spawn music, John.
Yeah, I don't blame him. It's quite beautiful. Just got my wires crossed there, by the way. It's actually number 1 in op kills per round is Wolfie with M80 at 0.51. Kojimo is number 4 in op frags at 122.
0.51, presumably per game, right? Or per round?
Per round.
Yeah, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Oh no! Dia goes down after time!
He does get clocked. That's unfortunate. The risk you take saving in that kind of circumstance. And so Fluffy Aimers, it goes from bad to worse here. Complete non-starter of a round ultimately ends in disaster for Dia. It means that their money is putrid, likely inviting some degree of force buy into this one. And I mean, this one's looking like a train derailment here, John. They haven't just not left the station. They've tried to leave the station and they've jettisoned themselves into the local neighborhood.
This is yeah. 4th round of play. Evil geniuses are truly coming out with a nice showing in the early goings here of Ancient. Nade's gonna that smoke. George takes down Dia in A main, throws the Molotov, and he's going to patiently wait for more targets to come to him.
That's a gun. Outside of the cave, this could get spicy, John. Could be a little bit of heat on this one. Jason, one of the only players who's been able to create, but it was Learcy this time who connected with the Deeg to crack his goose egg. And now, what can you do with it?
Yeah, I would even, I'll get back to my point after. I'm digging through some stats right now. Automatics waiting towards mid. George coming to meet him. I guess I have a moment here.
You do. They're playing really slow in these first 4 rounds.
I just want to say, I don't think Wolf.
You don't have a moment. It's gone. Moment's gone. Moment's gone. And oh my goodness, with it so's the evil genius defense of A. The patience is rewarded. 45 seconds. Junior wants to get on the line, but look, they're already out. This is going to be a tough spot, tough fight. They want to overwhelm him. They want to take him out of play, and he'll live. Only just. And with Jason's position here in the red room, he's a dead man. He's a goner. No chance there. Hex may just need to save this.
Wow, that was an impressive push towards mid. The Pistols taking care of business. 2 frags simultaneously. And once they get that control and donut, and of course in that cubby towards mid, I mean, they have A free and clear for the taking. Only Junior in their way. And there were just too many targets for him to look at. Too many angles with that AWP. Hex just going to save the AK, which is a good idea. He can drop that over for someone else. I think they might be able to buy up an op. Maybe Hex can buy that op for Junior. I'm not sure, and keep the AK. One way or another, the Fluffy Aimers have gotten on the board in a very big way, and they get some free upgrades in their hands. Now, the stat point I was going to bring up actually is that 0.51 op frags per round for Wolfie on M80 is all in CSGO, and we know that it's going to be much harder to get that many op frags per round in CS2. So I would argue that Junior is in fact number 1 with that 0.39 that he has.
I think that's reasonable. I mean, M80 haven't played a game since like August.
It's been a long time.
They've been in Europe. They had their Pro League campaign. They're playing in Thunderpick, or not Thunder. Yeah, they're playing in Thunderpick right now. They've been boot camping for a long time. Excited to see the fruits of their progress when they do come back into the league, presumably after Thunderpick. But we'll see. Peeping burning heavily early on, but Hexed will be punished a bit by the util as well. That was just straight on to B. Automatic picking up the AUG, trying to hold court here in mid, but it will have to be a little bit of a retake if EG want to hold on to this map positioning. In the meantime, a lot hinges on Walco here in Cave, and peek it back in for Junior. Diaz going to punish that. Op now up on the other side. And that's second as well. As Automatic gets a little bit too excited for the peak. So the red room control is disastrous now for EG. They're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Dia, speaking of a player who decided to really fall off the op considerably, he only has 30.9% of his frags with the AWP compared to 45 plus in CSGO, but he's rocking it here. 3 frags already, all of the frags, in fact, in this round going his way, and now they've got any site. They could choose which one they want to go to. B is stacked, of course. Evil Genius is gambling here, and it's not a bad gamble because that's where the Fluffy Aimers appear to be leaning towards. With 39 seconds left, it's probably going to come here.
Trying to rock that off is smoked off. We'll need to reposition. Kills just yet. It is, in fact, everybody ending here. Hack's trying to make a play, but the hail of bullets through will eventually catch him before he can even get through the smoke. Walker will have to try and save this AWP, but that's Fluffy Aimers. A commanding round now on the board, and back-to-back rounds where they've actually kept a surprising number of bodies rather. I mean, 5 in this one, obviously, but considering the last was an eco, 4 players survived, and there will be no escapees from the EG side. This is starting to look good for FA.
Yeah, this is what we saw last time when Evil Genius were against Nouns, right? When Nouns ratcheted up the pace, EG struggled to kind of defend on their CT side, and that seems to be happening here with Fluffy Aimers. Yes, on their eco, it was a slower start, but then they exploded outwards and EG didn't really respond. Here, it was just straight on, going into the B site, not only B site, also mid, and just taking care of everyone. Dia in particular with that AWP, the 3K to kick things off. It's looked great. And yeah, Evil Genius is going to have to adapt and adjust here. It looks like they want to go for the force buy, which is not the usual style for EG. So that is a change. Usually they would go for an eco in this situation, but they're risking it a little. Again, I'm surprised not to see the shotguns more prevalently used in these types of situations, but they're still favoring the deagles, which I don't. Deagle and pistols, which I don't mind, but we'll see how that pans out. Dia, by the way, Mike, number 2 in ADR this season at 88.9. The other player who's also in the top 5 is Junior at 87.5 at number 4.
Hard to do his offers, too. That's impressive.
Yes, that is very impressive.
Which reflects their fragging output to this point. 40 seconds. The slower pace of play here may actually work out for EG. Smoke in. That's going to stall them out in cave. They have no map control towards A. This is going to get interesting. Great scout shot from Junior. He was waiting for that exact peek coming through from Dia. Now they got to be on notice. Could see EG start to rotate in. You can see Automatic starting to hedge. Just a little bit, but not nearly in time. Walker wanted to play forward, and that's going to cost him. Good tag from the scout. Molotov on. Peeping gets away from it. They do clear cave. Free smoke up. There's no nades to clear this. Could use a pop here, and the bomb's going to go down with 5 seconds to spare. This got real frisky for a moment, but now EG are locked out of sight and retaking with just pistols. It's going to be a tough ask. Let's see if they can make it chaotic at least. Because they are going to commit into this. They came too close to back away now. Learsey, good for 2. Sets up the 3rd as well. And Junior with just a scout, he's going to back away.
Yeah, and only 21 HP as well. This is the right play for him to make, but he's going to have to get further away than this. Obviously, that bomb explosion radius is very large now on Ancient. You have to be extremely far away, and now he should be safe. Yeah, there we go. He's good. And the rest of Fluffy Aimers also surviving here. And FA, 3 rounds in a row now, and they've had only at most 2 players dead in any of those 3 rounds. That was the one where they had the 2 players. The other one, they only lost 1 in 2 rounds ago, and then none in the previous one. So Fluffy Aimers looking strong and building up that economy, as you can tell with Learsey at 10K before he buys up here. EG, they're on an eco. You got the Scout, the Deagle, the 5.7, and another Deagle available to them. I mean, this is when Fluffy Aimers start to get themselves on the board with this type of buy. We'll see if they can do the same on EG. Automatic. Just wants to hold the angle, it seems, towards Donut, and George the same at A main. Dia peering around. He's got the big green once more. Molotov going to get tossed towards CT. XU coming. George is ready for this one. He could do a lot of damage if he comes in at the right time. Timing the key. And no, he does not. Automatic does get the one. He go on to Dia. Offer down. AK singing along for Learsy. Automatic and Hex get naded down to very low health. In fact, just the AK bullets get him down to that health. And Sacrifice gets automatic afterwards. So it's only Junior left who will be down shortly. That's it.
Well, the round doesn't have questions. My question is, what was that audio we were hearing back by A main? Was there like a gun clipped into the wall or something?
I'm not sure. There's been some weird audio yeah, well, there have been some audio glitches that I've heard as well where not something strange happening. In that case, when something was clipping into the wall, who knows what it was, just positional audio being really odd, where you think someone's close and they're not even near you. So it's you're peeking at the wrong times and you're going around those corners thinking that you have an advantage when no one's there, and then you lose that advantage. So there are issues with, well, everything in CS2 right now.
Yeah, but I think that one was more about something being clipped into the wall. But yes, I agree with you. Audio is definitely something that is being refined right now. Seems like the occlusion settings they've been working on has maybe led to some confusion.
Yeah. But we'll get there. I have confidence we'll get there eventually. It's a matter of how much time it'll take.
Question of when. Battle here in mid. Double. Ooh, B main peak. Not going to work out there. And losing Hexed out of Donut with nothing. This is really looking dire for the Evil Geniuses. They're just getting run over. There was nothing particularly fancy about that take in mid. Fluffy AIMERS just waited out the initial salvo of utility and then killed everybody.
This is a really... I was going to say if Junior goes to B, that's a really good read, but he actually goes towards mid. He's watching out what's happening there.
They were there.
I totally understand it. I totally understand it. Just once you get that initial frag, they realize, okay, there's one player here. Probably B's more vulnerable with Junior not being there. Anyway, I think they just have to play together because they have to save here. There's no reason to try and go for this one. It'd just be too costly. And look at, again, a great start from EG, 3-0, but Fluffy AIMERS 5 in a row.
Yeah, very impressive. And I mean, that round in particular is distressing for the Evil Geniuses because you had the read. You have two players playing out of cave to go for the fight and towards elbow. You have the third player set up Donut to potentially read and react to it. So you're making the right play. You're making the right color. Maybe you don't have all the utility that you'd want for it necessarily, but why not? You probably had the funds to make it happen. And they lose the fights. At the end of the day, you can set up as many plays as you want in Counter-Strike. But at some point, you got to win the fights, and that one was did not go their way.
Oof, all right. Well, Evil Geniuses, yeah, that's a good time to call a timeout. Tactical timeout being used by EG to talk things over and say, hold up a second, guys. We shouldn't have lost that round. We had the read. We had the jump on them, and we still couldn't get the frags we needed. Junior's got the op, of course, and George saved over the M4. Everyone else, I'm assuming, will be forcing up around this because you don't have as many rounds to kind of recover that CT economy as you used to with MR15 in MR12. So I think now's a good time to get a buy-up going. At least upgrade pistols, maybe get some SMGs in there. Personally, I would just go all in, but we know EG can be very conservative.
They do tend to be. That's no reason to hit panic just yet. You just lost 5 in a row, you know? Maybe a little bit of panic.
Yeah.
They got some decent utility around this. The thing is, they're not going to shift up the spots at all. Junior's going to get more aggressive at the AWP in mid, but you still got the rifle anchoring A. You haven't shifted anyone really around the map. This is still very defaulty, but we're getting the aggression. Okay, here we go. Junior's going to carry forward.
Junior, the first one, is weird.
This could be real weird because the bomb's down.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to want to progress much further than this. They've now cleared elbow. They're leaving Junior. What's happening now?
I don't understand leaving the op by itself here. I think he will hear the footsteps. At the very least, he'll get information here. Yeah, he's within range to maybe hear an inkling of what's going on. Definitely once they get into Donut, they'll get information that something's happening towards A main. And they are in a good position to rebuff this attack.
4 players here. Rifles here. Ops ready to respond. Here comes the exact. The stack's in the right place. They've read it. Right, that Molotov. That's really unfortunate. Big miss, and George rattled, can't do anything about it, but his teammates are picking up the slack. Automatic in particular, putting in some work right now. Fluffy Aimers might be realizing they're in trouble. CZ can't bring it home. The soften up damage won't matter when it's an AWP on the other side. Need a hero. Automatic's already been that. AWP section out by a Molotov. Bomb is down. Walker's repositioning to come from spawn, and meanwhile, Sacrifice just takes the initiative here. What are they going to be able to do? Sacrifice is so low. Woolies might as well be shotguns. Shadow gives him away.
He still gets that?
Can't land the shots. He just gets the swing. Walko does not take the swing. He's trying to anticipate him coming into the angle, and that just ain't how it works in this game, baby. So Fluffy Aimers going to be able to bring this one through, and that was looking dire for just a moment, but as we've seen so many times, EG just can't get a handle on it.
Yeah, EG were so good at holding angles in CSGO, but in CS2, you just can't do it anymore. You have to be a little more aggressive. You have to be moving around. Just move your feet a tiny bit, a fraction, to kind of get that adjustment made as the peak is coming around that corner and give you that moment to react to what's about to happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Sacrifice should have survived that fight. He had very low HP. Walko probably should have been able to finish him off, especially seeing the shadow. I mean, you can anticipate that pre-fire. All right, well, 6-3 in favor of the Fluffy Aimers, who have completely turned this half on its head. I mean, they've got plenty of cash. I think for the remainder of the half, they'll be able to buy no problem. Over on the EG side, this is where you need to put a stop to what the Fluffy Aimers are bringing your way. Otherwise, this could quickly get out of hand, and yeah.
I think the big concern is, okay, Walko gonna get run down on. He's good for the first. Swapping to the util, very awkward there. Wasn't expecting the second player in. That's unfortunate for Walko, but Junior's gonna be able to keep it in their advantage, at least for the moment. But look at the reaction from Fluffy Aimers. They're already rotating the bomb. They're already shifting up. They're taking space in towards A main. The cave player's coming back out. This is gonna shift very quickly into an A take.
Oh, that nade was very chonky, though. Jason goes down to 46 HP, and yeah, I mean, they're going to be on this A site, which has very little defense. George is there over in Catacombs, but the other closest player is Automatic at Long B. So, I don't know. Smokes are coming in. They're going to fake this. They're faking this. I love this decision for the Fluffy Aimers. They have a full minute on the clock. Hex could get caught out here if he doesn't hard clear this angle. He is going to, and Sacrifice looks away at the wrong moment. All right, well, now the jig might be up.
Talk about getting timing, but how do they read that position, right? Because that could still be to control the donut rotate. Now, if they're Gigabrains, they should read based on the fact that he was looking towards mid. Likely was a rotate. But they don't really need to respond to that just yet. 25 seconds. There's so little working in the Fluffy Aimer side. This one should be done. Settled business. It's all on peeping. Damage is huge here if he can do it, but no. So EG escape with players healthy, with a team ace to get their first gun round in 7 rounds on the board.
That is wild. And to think, if Sacrifice is looking in the right direction, I think he might win that fight, and then it would have been super problematic for EG because they would have had no information as to what's going on. They had to judge maybe that they were going for an A hit based on those smokes, and then Fluffy Aimers would have had a clear path towards B, where likely maybe one player would have been able to make it there, but late. So yeah, I mean, finally something swinging the way of the Evil Geniuses. They get a 4th round. Fluffy Aimers, they're looking a little more dynamic right now. All right, Automatic gets one. Jason gets the second. So there's a trade coming through. 4v4. Jason eats the nade. I think he got spotted. There was a flashbang in the mix, I believe, as Hex is just waiting here right outside of Red Room. Oh, Jason's just eating utility right now. No bullets doing damage to him, just nades at 6 HP.
He's picking shrapnel out of his teeth right now. But he's going to gain the space, and the space is what matters. As long as he stays alive in it, he can hold a lot of this rotation. Gives his team some options. Minute on the clock. Milling about here.
Ooh,
okay.
Way spot there. Not sure if that was
accidental. That's the old hit your keyboard with your mouse.
Yeah.
Oh no, and the overlook. Ooh, spotted an ankle. Bit fortunate there for Hex. Did not seem to be aware of the possibility, but had a recognition in time. Now they're in towards B, ready to defend. It's a Little passive, and that's a big kill from Sacrifice. Hex realizing they were caught out of position, trying to get back into it. We'll keep the numbers in their favor, but the bomb will be planted at 2v3. Big one as well for Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's winnable here for them, defending this site. Walco waiting for reinforcements to arrive. I mean, Junior with the AWP makes it a little bit tougher to go for this retake, but it isn't a man advantage. Walco needs this, and he's got it. Another important one comes through. Learcy, last one standing, at least finds one, but he'll be overloaded. There it is. The Evil Geniuses. Great retake. 5th round picked up, and now they're looking like they're back in business. Just hold the defuse, Walco.
Nah, take it a couple more times. Everything they can in this last round.
Oh my gosh.
Last round of the half. See if EG can bring it tied up. It's a little tough to read the sidedness of this map right now. Yeah. So don't read too much into any of that. Momentum is what we're looking for. If EG can keep this momentum up going into the half, then things are looking a whole lot better.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what their T side will yield here on Ancient. Anyway, Fluffy Aimers going for a fast play into A main. Is that Nate going to do damage? No, it was a little behind pretty much everyone who was charging in there. George, I don't think you'll realize how many players are potentially here, but Fluffy Aimers, despite all those audio cues being given away, are going to fall back here. There's a lot of map control for the Evil Geniuses. Look where Walco is. He's all the way towards mid. No one knows that no one's there. He is smoked off by his own team smoke towards that B double doors, but this is a pretty good setup for EG. It's getting better by the moment.
Yes, indeed. Util sailing over. Smoke in. That's a nice nade. Automatic. That flashbang's timely, but he actually gets away from it without being punished. So advantage EG, though it looked a little touch and go there for a moment. They're down a lot of their utils. The problem, there's no more smokes for EG, so no stall out util. Going for the double cave setup and not seeing anything towards mid with the donut presence. They're going to shift Hext over as well. So they got the numbers here. They got the AWP here. It's a tough angle at this mid-range fight. Oh, the timing! Junior comes off the angle at the worst moment, but Walco is good for it. The shadow gives 2 away, and the swing back in Sacrifice. Oh, running these mechanics right now, but he will be caught all in Dia. He had already found the first he needed, but he's got to get 2 more here. And in 10 seconds, he has no time. He can't win this. He actually can't win this. I'd lost track of the time. Clearly, they had as well. Dia out into the fray, just has to force the bomb down to dirt. He's lost it, and he knows it. He's hunting, and he will not be able to find George in time. The round is over, and we're off to the break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
There's fire in the atmosphere, moving in synergy. This electricity, the power of the pioneers, tearing through history. This is our destiny. We are the power, we are the change, we are the pioneers of paradise and fame. We push you louder like hurricanes. We are the pioneers, we are the pioneers.
Second half, and nothing to separate these two teams, John. It was looking like it was all fluffy aimers for a while there, but EG find their spine, stand up to them.
Yeah, it was 3-6-3 in terms of how the scoring went. 6 in a row for the Fluffy Aimers, and Evil Geniuses split their rounds up from beginning to end. We'll see if they can get on a little bit of a roll here on their T side. Again, they do like to go for these more slow, methodical plays, even on pistol round. They are lining up 3 players into cave. This is exactly what Peeping and Sacrifice are set up for, though. Let's see if they hit the head. There's one for Sacrifice. They don't even clear Peeping. And already a 5v3 in favor of the Fluffy Aimers. Automatic, deleted, Sacrifice gets Junior. The round is already over.
Looking like a rinse repeat of the first half in some ways, without the late thought that something could be on. But here we go. A little bit of juice here back into the half from the Fluffy Aimers. Reminder, this is Fluffy Aimers map pick. And they're showing why so far. Good feel for Ancient. My feeling from the first half, John, was that genuinely Fluffy Aimers seemed to have a better handle on fighting in CS2 early on.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be the case against pretty much every team that EG has been playing as of late. And I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, yes, of course, it's going to take them a little time to adjust, but I think it's also the way they set themselves up, not just the way they're taking these fights. Anyway, Jason going to be waiting here in Donut. Okay, he's a little exposed. We can back off. Blocks could be enough to finish him off, and well, Automatic finds Peeping with the Galil, the one rifle perched up in the round. Yes,
someone just calmed to Walko. Hey, bud, you got the bomb. They need to get a plant out of this with how much space they've taken. They're going to be able to do so. So this is already a successful round. Now the question is, what else can they find off of it? Damage would be huge, be massive.
Nice
Automatic
swing.
doing exactly that. And this round is very much in doubt. An extra gun can be picked up for Walko here. Eventually.
I don't think they get this round.
Shouldn't do. It's a tough spam angle. They planted it wide to make sure they were safe for the Donut player, so they are going to be able to defuse right under their nose. The Automatic may even just try and get out of here with the rifle. Won't be able to do so, but still, 3 kills. Bomb plant, that is a massive result, considering what they bought into the round.
Yeah, definitely hits the economy of the Fluffy Aimers pretty hard, but it's still an 8th round found for FA. Evil Geniuses will be able to buy up here. Automatic already forced in that previous round, but with the money they built up from that bomb plant, he's still okay. 4 AKs and the Galil on their side in pretty much full util as well. So let's see if they can get back into this half immediately after this hot start again from the Fluffy Aimers. 4 A1Ss and a Galil. Picking that up from the previous round. And there is a nade that sails in and doesn't do any damage at all. Just the timing off on that one. Evil Geniuses have 3 players set up outside B. The other 2 are lurking around A main and elbow into mid. We'll see what they decide to do. It could just be a pincer attack towards lane and elbow, which I wouldn't necessarily mind to get that control of mid. And they're smoking off cave as well. There's a counter smoke though. Here's that slow, methodical play from Egypt.
The difference is they have a massive util advantage right now. So the first salvo goes out, but they've got so much more to work with. And here's the economic problems for FA. They've got nothing. They literally do not have a nade. There is no flash. There is nothing to slow this down. So EG are using it right now. They've taken Jaguar. haven't really got anything to show for the nades they're throwing yet. Another salvo in towards B. 2 players on the site. They deal with Learsey. They leave Dia in a really tough spot. Molotov, he's ticked. They know he's here. Do they clear the second player? Gotta do it. And they do indeed. Walco, good presence of mind. So here it goes. They use the utility to create that pressure point in towards Cave. And then they punish. Bomb down. Automatic still lurking on the periphery. Takes 1. Should seal the deal on this being a retake. Sacrifice wants to give it a look, and clearing out that lurker gives them a chance, but Jason's just too far gone to even think about going for this.
Yeah, I mean, he's way out of the picture. I imagine EG is going to want to chase a little bit, not too much, because their money's not too great. But Jason is likely going to tuck himself into Donut and sit himself down and have a snack. Because there's nothing else for him in this round, and EG do make good on their first rifle buy-up and pick up a 7th. Definitely agree with you there, Mike. There was a lack of utility for the Fluffy Aimers. Really did kill them in the end because EG had a full set to execute onto B. There was no response that Fluffy Aimers could bring in that direction in terms of util, and they just lost all of their fights. A nice peak as well from Automatic in doing the damage.
Well played in that round. I know the Fluffy Aimers, I mean, their backs are going to be against the wall economically, so they'll invest back in around this AK. It's double eco for several players, so why not chase it at this point? Let's see if they can get anything out of this round. Heavy emphasis on the SMGs. They've again opted for weaponry over utility, which means they just don't have much to work with here. Down to 1 smoke. They're fortunate that a kit was brought over from the last round by Jason, but this one's going to be tough, John.
Yeah, no question. I mean, like you said, Jason's got the AK. Yep.
The timing. Learsey went for a peek right as the player pulled off. Everybody's here. It's a full stack on. EGD haven't really done any due diligence. They just rinse repeating the last round, right? They've now taken this cave presence. But they don't know what's happening across the map, and now Hex gets the lead in cave. They don't have to commit in. George takes some substantial damage, and meanwhile, Automatic wandering up into mid. He's taking the space. So now this is the secondary plan. This is plan B. And Automatic has yet to encounter resistance over towards A. It's just peeping back a sight.
Yeah, 40 seconds left on the clock, so they will have to make a move soon. And peeping, something alerted him to this possibility because he was leaning towards the B side and said, oh, hold on a second. A could be the final destination. He's absolutely right, but he's in Catacombs, so we can't really deny much. I assume EG is going to be watching this. They have 3 flashbangs, but no smokes and no Molotovs.
That is the big problem. Nothing to control choke points makes the A site very difficult to defend. And George is low. The SMG just needs to land a bullet. Numbers are punched in, but they're not long for this world. They're in such a tight choke point, such a pain point right here, but George is still somehow finding impact. All on Automatic. Needs to land these shots. He's done so, but jumping around the box, peeping is the key piece to keep him in it. Look, it's going to be close. It's not going to be pretty, but Fluffy Aimers are going to win a very important round.
Absolutely. And I mean, look, that was a force buy coming through from them again. And this is why I'm saying sometimes it's better just to risk it in CS2 because you have a lot of opportunities with that peeker's advantage. If you're aggressive to try and get the jump on your opponent, and that's what the Fluffy Aimers did. A few timely peeks towards that B site. One in cave, I think, was the most critical. And then peeping, waiting at A, having the presence of mind to think, okay, hold on a second, we have no one here, I need to wait in Catacombs. And of course, EG not having any smokes or Molotovs means they can't really section off any angles and have to watch 3 different ones. I mean, even 4 if you consider a main, which is extremely difficult and eventually getting overloaded. So EG still enough to buy up, but that is going to hurt. Good trade, at least from Walco, to take Jason down to make it a 4v4. But look at the presence at mid. All 4 players are at mid right now for the Fluffy Aimers. Wow.
They're ready for this. Gonna be able to fast respond in towards A if it comes this way. Good kill for Dia. Traded out instantly. But as we said, the cavalry's gonna be here quickly, and Peeping's already on the angle. There is no smoke for CT. They're punished for it. Great shots from Peeping. when the smoke donut fades, this is, I mean, disaster, right? Meanwhile, Hex is making his way up B. No way he can help his teammate right now. So Walco's just going to have to stall out. Trust that Hex can make something out of this lurk. They should know they have the bomb down, right? So there's no need to panic rotate, though no one's holding it. So theoretically, it could have been retrieved.
I mean, right now, look, Peeping's watching this. Walco has to make some noise or give Hex some space to work with here. I know he might end up dying because of it, but if Hex can come out and help him, there it is. Well, Hex gets one, but Walco's gone, so that's still a tough ask here. 1v2.
Had a player drop out of the server. Oh, and he's going to be Learsy to take through the final kill. All good on the Fluffy Aimer side. They're letting him know it as well, as without a bomb plant there, the bank has run out for the Evil Geniuses. Prime scenario going on right now for the Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, Sacrifice dropped out here, but it should be resolved very quickly. It's another thing we've seen a lot of lately is just players crashing.
Yeah, you know, fully released stable game.
God.
Fully released stable game. For a while, you couldn't rejoin if you did crash.
I know, I saw that too.
The reconnect button wasn't working for a full patch.
Oh no.
It's theoretically working again, which is chill. Nothing more fun than losing Premier Elo because you literally can't get back into the game that it crashed you out of.
That's brutal. I think it was Hex that had that problem, if I'm not mistaken, a little while ago. Well, Evil Geniuses having even more problems in this match. Fluffy Aimers have got their groove on here. 10-7 of the first ones hit double digits, and they've got a pretty good buy-up compared to what Evil Geniuses are bringing to bear here. It's just going to be pistols, and there's a Molotov that Walco goes right through, eats utilities, bullets. He's gone in the first 10 seconds. Keeping coming around looking for more. He's hungry, and he's got it. Automatic drop to the ground. Learsy gets another one. It is all Fluffy Aimers with only Junior left. And no longer. Wow, 11-7.
Clean as a whistle.
Oh yeah.
We're getting to the waning moments now. This 4-round lead with just 2 to find. This investment for EG is going to be everything. There's still going to be limitations in this one because Fluffy Aimers are bringing the guns back over. There's no reason to risk it too much, right? They know it. And certainly the SMGs can work here. So why not, John? Why not try and get it done with the MP9s?
Yeah, go for it. I would be aggressive if I was Fluffy Aimers here because Evil Geniuses are always hanging back. And I mean, Fluffy Aimers at this point, like you kind of mentioned, mechanically, they feel like they're winning most of the fights and they look more comfortable.
They're initiating.
Yeah.
Just the reality of CS2, you got to be the one on the move.
Look at Learsy.
Pressure on the wall. They've got him totally isolated. Totally isolated here in the cubby. They haven't cleared it just yet, but that's what the SMGs are going to do. Flashbang's good. How on earth?
What?
Oh, the timing for automatic coming back in. Learsy may have sold his teammate out a little bit there. There's a huge play from the window. That wasn't actually Learsy. It was from the window. Junior somehow makes that happen.
Okay.
And EG looking like they were in a dire circumstance, but the mid-peak comes in the nick of time.
That is Junior with a lot of BM after the frag as well. It's not something you see from him every day, but I think the frustration's perhaps boiling over for the Evil Geniuses. They're happy to find that. Honestly, a little lucky that they got it because it felt like the Fluffy Aimers had every advantage. The flashbang didn't blind Walco, which was part of the problem, but they should have taken him out. 2 players swinging him like that. Walco gets one, he gets help. I think it was from Hex around the corner, and then he gets 2 for himself. So good job from EG. It looked like it might have been curtains already, but they do manage to stave off a 12th round for now from the Fluffy Aimers, who will call a timeout to talk things over as to what approach they're going to take in this round. They have been very aggressive with their buys. A force up is viable with Learsy and Dia above 4.5k, but you would sacrifice your economy for the follow-up round, and you do have a 3-round lead, so it's not necessary to try and end this right now. And let's not forget, they won with the pistols previously in that first half.
They did do. They did do. EG are occasionally susceptible to a little bit of the whoopsie doodle.
A little bit.
And now would be a particularly painful time for that whoopsie.
I like the aggression from Fluffy AIMERS right now. Well, Peeping was spotted. Maybe he wants to bait out a push,
Was he?
right? Yeah, he was.
Oh, got the jiggle. All right. K's been lost. Nice kills on. They've actually gained the B site. Junior goes down. Just to the CZ. Must have been a baller peek. Into the op.
Peeping could find George here. Oh.
Could do. Tough to do. Tough to bring him down. And now the rotations are on. Peeping looking to make a cheeky play in the smoke. But site should be just about claimed. Do they realize Peeping's out on the corner?
No, I don't think they do.
Surely they got to check it on the smoke fade. Oh, he makes his play in. He makes his play in. Peeping, what are you going to get? Nothing. Nothing.
I like the gusto, though.
A lot of chutzpah.
Indeed. Jason, dead. There it is. 9th round picked up for EG, so, I mean, it was a round where Fluffy AIMERS only upgraded their pistol, so we weren't expecting much, and we did not get much. Although, Junior going down to that CZ, right? That made things seem a little scary for the Evil Geniuses, just the way things have gone lately, even though they still had a significant advantage. But yeah, they closed it out very cleanly, don't lose another body, and now they're only 2 rounds back of the Fluffy AIMERS. But here come the rifles for
They do indeed. You know, I really admire what EG's doing here philosophically, John. Clearly, they don't like the swap to CS2, so they're trying to make these games take just as long as MR15 games would. They're really eking every possible second out of every round. Oh, that one's quick, though. Couple hits early on here. We're only 20 seconds into the round, and 2 bodies are on the ground for the Fluffy AIMERS, so never mind. EG have had a change of heart. Dia gonna get an answer back. A bit of revenge. The Molotov will force them out of the cave, at least for the moment. Meanwhile, look at this from Automatic.
Oh my goodness.
All the way through.
I think he's just going to go wrap.
Why not? How aware of this could they be? Learcy's kind of thinking about it. Learcy's fully committed to holding this. Does he clear it? He does indeed. Learcy, crazy heads-up awareness there. And that's going to cut off what EG were hoping to do. They were hoping to get the pinch in from the backlines. The problem is that they go quiet while these flanks are developing, right? They get the comms from a teammate that, oh, you know, I'm all the way through. Just chill, just chill, just chill. And so the teammates figure out that something is up. Now Jason's lost in Donut, so it's back on. Evil Genius can make this happen. And the op shot will land as Learcy tried to take the initiative all onto Dia. As EG looked to bring this to 10. So maybe the flank didn't work, but it did clear out the information. And they capitalized. And Dia's going to save.
Yeah, I thought for a moment Automatic goes down, right? And Learcy finds that Fluffy AIMERS have a chance taking the round, but it's a great response. Like you said, just information gained. It was enough for the Evil Geniuses to work with. They get the frags. Junior gets a couple with the AWP, and Evil Geniuses do indeed find double digits. So what was looking very dire for them has now been, well, almost fully recovered. They need to get that 11th round and, of course, convert to 13 if they hope to avoid potentially overtime or even a loss here against Fluffy AIMERS. Money's not that great for FA. You have to imagine that they're probably going to go for an eco here around this AK. Don't think there'll be a heavy investment. Timeout going to be called to discuss exactly that.
I say risk it for the biscuit twice.
I kind of agree. I think that it's worth going for.
I actually think I disagree, but I do think it's the funniest potential result.
Well, I'm thinking along CS2 lines here, so perhaps my mindset
yeah, I mean, you
has
just
changed.
buy up full SMGs or shotties and you rush them.
Yeah, I mean, look,
work.
Shotguns are powerful now. They're really, really strong, and I think that I'm just surprised we haven't seen it used more predominantly at the ECL level. I just feel like it's taking time for them to work their way into the actual meta.
Oh, they've been doing it in EU.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like in EU, they've already picked up that, yes, shotguns are very effective. So they're using them. And I mean, I'm sure you're seeing the results in ECL there.
Yep, absolutely. NA a little slower to adapt. Tia gonna be the point man here. Where is he playing? Donut. He's revealed the AK, so I would be wary about this window peek, right? There's no one to actually hold it, but he's revealed the big piece on the board. Can't give it away easily. I trying to disguise to taking some A main presence. Nothing showing just yet. It's peeping. He's living up to his name as he peers around the corner. But EG are very hesitant to give anything away in this round. Speaking of which, Automatic gets a little tagged up.
Yeah. Oh,
Gotta
George.
be careful, but
George.
on to A they go. Beeping got the first, looking for more. He's got it as well.
That's huge.
Sacrifice has been found elsewhere, so the numbers are still even, but this has gotten messy. The bomb's retrieved. It's backing off. There's players in mid. There's players in window.
This is scary for
in
EG.
the cubby. These are really cheeky spots. Jason's going to get cleared out. That's good play from Automatic. Heads up awareness. Tries to activate Learcy. He's dead to this nade, I think. Indeed he is. And just like that, we are all tied up here. We're going the distance. The full 24, which still feels strange to say.
Yes.
One way or another, John.
Yeah, I mean, but disaster averted for EG, because those were the type of spots that you saw the Fluffy Aimers in, where if you're the last three players standing, even with the rifles, you can quickly get overloaded. One coming on the flank, one up front, and one lurking on another angle that could pincer you in and literally trap you and have you looking every which way trying to find a target, but you're just splitting the difference constantly when you die. But good on Evil Geniuses. Automatic was the key frag to find. That he got, and well, there you go. Evil Genius is all 10 up at 11. Look at the utility damage though on Junior and George, both hovering around half health now. They need to be careful. Well done for the Fluffy Aimers, back to their full-on buy-up. Diaz got the op. Util is now a little bit light though. Couple of smokes, a nade, and a Molotov left on their side versus EG, who have way more at their disposal. But HP advantage has been found at the very least for the Fluffy Aimers. One more passive here towards mid this time, although a couple players stacked into Donut could catch EG off guard.
Yeah, it's a different look, right? Dia posted up for that window peek. There goes a player, and he collects, shifting the op around. Now he's able to relocate. Big finds on. Little geniuses are being gate checked at the door. Potential victory. It's gonna be the B play. Committing to this. Spam on either way. They've avoided the worst of it for now, and this bomb is likely to be planted now. Junior will have to come off an angle in order to punch the numbers in. Popping the smoke. That's bold. No one there to see it. And the spam is good. They find Junior. They pull him off the totem pole. Tried to plant a little wide. Now it's all going to fall to George. Knows he has to put in the numbers. He's got the first, but there's just no way to survive the trade. Fluffy Aimers. They came to the brink, but now they have at least secured map point, and they just need one more to take us over the line.
Wow, that was quite a dominant defense there. It all starts with some great nades being tossed, which forces the Evil Geniuses back. They reset themselves, try to readjust and go to B, but I mean, once they get that bomb planted, it just does not go well. Not to mention that the first two players ended up losing were the healthy ones with 100 HP. They weren't the ones that had lost as much health as I think it was Junior and George from that nade. Oh boy. So it was extremely hard to hold on to that post plant or even get the bomb planted in the first place. As they didn't. 138 on the clock here. Junior, he's got the op, so they had plenty of cash in reserve, but this could be their final round on Ancient. Junior jumped up on top of the box, flash and a smoke coming through. Sacrifice has peeked around and taken Junior down quite a few times with that rifle, so Junior is going to fall off the angle. Man, oh man. This would be a great map victory for the Fluffy Aimers. And as I mentioned, it's a win condition, in my opinion, for them to take this map.
Certainly is. Certainly is, especially after the battle that EG have done to get back to this point. Gunning for the Fluffy Aimers if they couldn't close here. Jason, this is going to be the fight. This is about which the A site defense hinges. Peeping, he's in the angle he held with the deagle, but this time he's got a slightly bigger gun. Here comes contact. Oh, they're mowed down, Jason. His position not revealed, but Peeping can't capitalize. Huge play from Jason still. Let's see if they can make anything with it. Sacrifice committing into the smoke. Waiting on the fade, and meanwhile, Learsey is incredibly slow to get involved on this flank. He's wary of someone holding, but he needs to get a move on. He needs to get running. He's gonna get caught despite all of his hesitation, despite all of his patience, and now these post plants are so strong. It's all on Dia, who just doesn't have time to bring this through. Doesn't have any smokes, doesn't have anything to block off the angles, needs them to peek, and they're giving him nothing. They're not giving him an inch. And so this round is destined for overtime. One way or another, a triangle of doom is assembled, and we're going for more rounds here, John.
Indeed we are. Evil Genius's protest against MR12 continues to the point where they say, we're not playing MR12, we're playing MR15 again here on Ancient. And they get that juicy 12.5k overtime money to boot. So that's going to help them. Yeah, no, that's a great recovery from EG. It could have gone the Fluffy AIMERS way, but I mean, just the force of mind. I mean, Automatic's playing a very solid Ancient. He's had his struggles in the early goings of ECL, but this is one of his better maps. 21 frags, leads the charge on both sides, and has been integral in most of their round victories.
Automatic.
That's a big miss.
Nimbly dodges the AWP. Tough angle to hold. So they will be denied the ground. They're taking in towards B main instead, and Learsey punishes. Hex down on the round.
Oh, great shot from Peeping onto Automatic. Nate's gonna get tossed here. George trying to capitalize, and he does for one. The Opper slips away for now as he throws a flashbang. Excuse me, a smoke out and a Molotov. And whoop, Walco's gone too. Oh boy, this is quickly falling apart for Evil Geniuses. George continues to do work for himself, though, trying to wrest this site out of the hands of Fluffy AIMERS by his lonesome. The problem is, look where the bomb is. It's going by itself in Junior's hands, and he wins the fight with the Glock against Sacrifice. So now they know the positions of both players, but where do they decide to go? Obviously, spawning the bomb over in Cave. George finds Peeping. That's a third. Goodness me, what a recovery for EG.
What a recovery for George.
Yeah.
It's just made this happen. Battling back through. They know where the last player is, and the shot will land. So George and Junior, the full house to bring that back from the precipice of disaster.
Mike, what did we say, right? What did we say pregame? We said, George, let him loose a little bit.
Yeah.
Take him off that leash. Look what happens. He goes into A by himself and gets 3.
Let George cook.
Absolutely. He's so good at it.
What we want to see out of this roster. It was the thing we were most excited for when his move over to EG happened. It's like, okay, let's see what they can do with this guy. He was the player, based on his showings in Nouns, who you looked at as that potential superstar talent. We've still seen flashes of it, but it hasn't been consistent. Yeah. A no-scope, sure. Why not? Dia, was that from back of red? Just randomly?
I think it was.
Major style points.
Jeez.
He rolled the dice. And it worked out for him.
Rolled a critical hit.
Nat 20. You started playing Baldur's Gate yet, John?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, man. But you got me convinced to play it for sure.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
I'll let you know.
Automatic. Automatic. Just around that lip. No one making a move just yet. 50 seconds now. Automatic comes into the angle, and he's been erased. Walking that tightrope. Laser beams coming down the other way, and Jason. One was not enough, apparently, as Junior's quick to answer and rally, and players flying back into the site can do nothing about this.
There we go.
Starting to take command are the Evil Geniuses. It all falls to Learsey, and though he will pass the first hurdle, there's so much more work to do, and there's just little time in which to do it. He doesn't even have a kit. Your favorite pet peeve, overtime kit buying. He's not doing it, but you can see why. We've come to the last round of this period of overtime, and look at their money, John. There's problems here. The double op has cost them.
It's the double op, not the kits, I think that cost them. But yeah, definitely they invested heavily into those ops, and this is the result. So you're going to see 2 SMGs, 3 rifles still up. But man, look, excuse me, that's 2 rounds in a row in overtime where EG have been down 5v3 and they've managed to wrestle it back. That time with just a fantastic sequence from Donut. 2 players come up with the frags. Junior is lighting up, and George, he needs to peek aggressively. Here's a quick hit from ED. Is it going to pan out? It looks like it will. There's George again. Yes, I love it. 2K coming through, 4v3 in favor of the Evil Geniuses. Nade sails on forward. Dia will be deleted. Jason and Sacrifice, the last 2 standing. It's looking like a clean sweep for EG in this first half of overtime.
It is indeed. George just taking command. Taking command here. And now it all falls to Jason to try and keep them off of this T-side clean sweep. There's never going to be a chance for him. Has to get lucky. He knows it. Spam comes through, but the odds, they're not in his favor. So now we swap sides, and perfection is required of the Fluffy Aimers. No more mistakes can be made here. 1 round lost, and they're donezo on their own map pick.
It's just, you can see the adjustment that George has made, right? Just in this overtime, he's going out aggressively fighting. He picked up the op, immediately peeked out in the previous round. Not the one we just saw, but the one before that. Peeks out in Catacombs and gets that frag. No hesitation, and that's what EG need more of. They need that one player who's going to go for the peaks, going to go for the aggression in Counter-Strike 2. George is up to that task. We know it. We talked about it. We hyped him up, and look at the result here in just 3 rounds. Peeping. Going to be charged now. Speaking of which, lots of nade damage taken. That Molotov's great, and Walco finds Sacrifice. Now they really ratcheted up the peaks and the aggression on the EG side. Peeping does win the fight against Hex. Look at the control that EG have into mid. They still have Junior waiting there, who also has been Junior, right? Those great op shots singing for them in overtime.
Mm-hmm. And the presence from Walco could be huge, right? You can see Peeping's trying to come in to clear this, but Walco's holding for it for the moment. Oh, sees him. The jiggle in does not work in his favor, so now that cave presence gone, Learcy at least will reclaim it. Very important to do so.
Great
Flashbang, that's lethal. Automatic had no idea what state he was in, and Junior's been slow to get on this flank. Full commit on George. The nades to punish. Learcy ahead of it, takes the initiative, takes the round. Junior's just so slow into this, so late into this. He no longer has a teammate to play off of, and now he's been spotted, and now he's been dropped on down. Huge round from Learcy.
That is such a heads-up play from Learcy, right? As you mentioned, the nade's coming in. He says, nope, I'm not going to get hit by that nade. I'm going to take the fight instead, which is the last thing that the player throwing the nade is expecting. And then Learcy just catches him completely off guard. 13th round picked up, but Fluffy Aimers need every single round here in this second half of overtime in order to push it to double OT. Learcy, Jason, everyone here on the Fluffy Aimers side fragging out, which isn't usually the case. I talked about it. It's very heavily skewed in favor of Dia and Sacrifice in terms of fragging, but seeing everyone perform at this double is a promising sign for Fluffy Aimers, and now Sacrifice takes down Walco through that smoke. Although a lot of damage taken by Learcy in the process. Still 4 healthy geniuses left here. And Hext waiting in cave. Fluffy Aimers have taken their foot off the gas pedal, slowing it down now.
Time ticks off. For the moment, trying to bait out some of that CT utility, which they are getting, to be fair. Looking to pull more, perhaps Hex takes that. Oh, the flashbang is so good. Player painted into the corner, and that could be it. That could be it. Just that one flash could have tipped this entire round. 50 seconds. The player's through red, but they spotted him, so they should have awareness of Dia's position and what he can do with it. Still, he's going to slow down the rotations. His positioning could be huge if he stays alive, because it forces them to respect him. You can see how many resources they're committing to trying to clear him out, but Junior discounts the possibility. Loses track, and now just right back into this. Peek on. The spam is good. That drops the bomb. Time is such an issue here, John. And flying around the corner is Hex. They're
A
out.
nade.
A nade to pop it. The nade might take Learcy out of play. He can't stand in here. In the pocket, and Hex will find the final bullet needed. Evil geniuses have done it. It took the rally back. It took the battle through. It took so much effort into overtime. But they did it, John. They took their opponent's map pick.
They did, and you could see the adjustments being made in real time by the evil geniuses in terms of the way they're approaching the game, letting George loose a little bit, taking those fights. Even on their CT side, it looked like they were starting to get a little more aggressive, looking for fights earlier on in the rounds, and it paid dividends. At the end there, Hex finally gets a 4K. He was pretty quiet throughout the majority of that one, but he helped out when he was needed, and everyone looking more comfortable every match that we see, or I should say every map we see the evil geniuses play. But the Fluffy Aimers, I really do want to give them credit. They played exceptionally well. They deserve to win here just as much as EG did, but at the end of the day, only one can be crowned king of Ancient here, and it's going to be EG.
Certainly true. Certainly true. But the Fluffy Aimers have impressed us. The question is, can that performance carry through into Overpass? We'll find out after this break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
don't speak for a couple of weeks. I'll be in his place till he calls and says he's sorry. This situation's on repeat, just like a scratch on a CD. It just gets deeper when you hit rewind. How many nights will you make this decision? Nights ending tears and it's blurring your vision. You know he don't love you, but you're holding on to. Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than your rescue?
Overpass on deck. Fluffy Aimers, Evil Geniuses. And Evil Geniuses, after managing to pull off the long-fought upset, shall we say, snatching away the opponent's map pick. Now getting more comfortable territory here on Overpass, John.
Yeah, it is the first time Fluffy Aimers will be playing Overpass in Counter-Strike 2. They were 2-0 over the last 2 times they played it in CSGO, but that doesn't really matter anymore, right? We'll see how they perform here, starting on the CT side again. Yeah, it is Evil Genius's map pick. They did take the Fluffy Aimers map pick of Ancient, even though it was a very hard task for EG to pull off. Now we'll see how they approach their T side here. A lot more methodical in Overpass, as it should be. Volko's going to get one after Jason found the George, and it's back and forth we go. There the duel. He's keeping 8 of bullets. No, but Jason's good for the last 2. Hext and Automatic go down. Another very torrid pace to these pistol rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Once the hit comes, it's full collapse, massacre, a little slaughter in the bathrooms.
I think Fluffy Aimers taking every pistol.
That sounds... No. They did not win the first half pistol on
The first one they
Ancient.
didn't lose, but they won the second half one in a very similar fashion to this one.
Yes, the full collapse.
Yeah.
You know, usually when there's a massacre in the bathroom, it's because I ate too many burritos.
I don't know if anyone needs to know that, but yeah.
People need to know, John. I'm here to provide them with information. Peepings, here to provide EG with lead.
EG, last time they played on Overpass, it was a 13-2 win. Excuse me, 13-1 win over Wildcard, I believe it was, unless I'm mistaken. But either way, over their last 4, 2 13-1 wins, one against PA, one against Wildcard, and of course that was in CS2. So we are expecting good things from them here. Layer C, waiting with the smoke. He's going to toss it eventually once the first one fades away that was thrown from spawn. And the Fluffy Aimers have the advantage for now, although there is that Galil to worry about in Automatic's hands. The other 3 players have pistols. Altov's going to get thrown at the perfect time. Yep.
Oh, that's brutal. Sacrifice just sends him straight in to be broiled, but George, all right, a little bit of intrigue on. Gonna be tough to deal with Peeping, but he's done exactly that. Doesn't have the range for the final fight, but it's good damage. Not what they were hoping for. A bomb plant would have been wonderful. Fluffy Aimers, they survive the forced buy.
So they make it through. Now EG has to go for the eco. You see George at 3.3k and Junior at 3.2. So, I mean, Junior is obviously saving for the op. George can invest a little bit as a result into some util, maybe a pistol upgrade in this round. But Automatic seems to be the designated hero rifle throughout these first 2 maps anyway. He's going to go for the Galil. Everyone else on pistols. Nade's going to get tossed forward. Jason, waiting around here. Maybe too long. Dia, the same thing. Yeah, they spotted out the player over at Party, and Walco has to retreat, going down to 36 HP. Peeping's trying to collapse now from Connector, which is a very lethal spot to be in, especially when there's so much pressure being applied from the bathrooms. Junior, boosting Automatic up to the top there. That boost spot near Cafe. And I mean, no one's here long, so a lot of information for EG, and Dia's gonna find one from Junior before getting traded on himself. That's a gun on the ground.
Yes, indeed. Peeping, though, taking the initiative here, dropping another player on down, securing that bomb once more. And at this point, well, the reinforcements are well and truly here. Nothing that can be expected. See if Hex can find one. No, he cannot. Bullet lands, but that's about it. Only one casualty, no bomb plant there. Successful round for the Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job from them shutting down the Evil Geniuses. Although they gave up a ton of space towards long, it wasn't really utilized by the Evil Geniuses, who tried to double back into the bathrooms. And as soon as they did, yes, they get one, but Peeping with the MP9 farms there, gets $1,200 in his bank account. Eventually did go down, but it was cleaned up by the rest of his squad. So 3-0 for the Fluffy Aimers. This is how EG started out, of course, on Ancient, before things went absolutely crazy. We're going to get more of the same here on Overpass. The Fluffy Aimers, they're no joke right now. And Jason's going to throw that nade, connects onto Hex, takes him down to 62, and Jason retreats because of that Molotov that was thrown. Good movement on his side, goes right back into it, catches Hex with util in his hands, and gets one. Thinking about swinging for the second, but decides better and backs off. Oh, now he goes for the fight again, and Junior's not expecting the peak. Well done, Jason.
This looks so reminiscent of the early rounds of Ancient, right? Yeah. Where Fluffy Aimers just taking all the initiative on the fights, and EG seemed to be flummoxed, bamboozled. They had a whole map to warm up, man. No more time to be flummoxed. No bamboozling.
The thing is for EG is that they need to adjust to CS2 on every single map. And Ancient, they've played quite a bit, so they've had the chance to, but Overpass a little bit more. Automatics didn't get that frag onto Jason, and they did do very well against Wildcard and PA, but that was, I guess, early days for CS2. Players are adjusting and changing their strategies. Evil Geniuses need to catch up. That said, I love the look they gave in overtime on Ancient. That was probably the best EG play I've seen so far this season.
It was. It was indeed. This time they will just save. So EG back to their mission to take the maximum amount of time in every round possible. I was thinking about that last game and doing the math on, you know, MR12, regulation, 48 minutes, theoretical normal round maximum, but if you plant the bomb like towards the end of that minute 55 each time, you could theoretically get it to be probably on average about like 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
If you're going really long. I think EG got all of those. Every minute that they could, man.
And they got a timeout called here too. Yeah, no, it was very long. The longest map we've probably had, aside from yesterday, of course, that marathon between Mythic and Nouns on Inferno.
I think that honestly might have been quicker. I'm not even kidding. I think that individual map, that series in general, was very long. But I think that individual map, if we take away tech issues, probably was quicker because of the pace of play.
I forgot about the tech issues. You're right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just an entirely different pace of play. EG are not. They are refusing to adapt to what a lot of teams have been doing in the Counter-Strike 2 pace of play. They are really trying to stick to their philosophy.
I mean, I respect it.
James would be proud, man.
Yeah, I suppose so, but I mean, eventually, it feels like you have to let go of it. It feels like you have to make the change. Maybe they'll prove us wrong. I still feel like the adaptations we saw in Ancient are showing that eventually they will adapt and adjust. Peeping, oh man, that nade is going to do a ton of damage, and his head was also spotted by Automatic, but didn't have time to shoot. Flashbang going to get tossed. Diaz fully blinded. So he's running into his teammate, bumping into walls, finally retreats, and no punish on for the Evil Geniuses, who are making that full-on adjustment and rotation here on Overpass. And they are going to burn this clock.
They are that, but this time it's for good reason, right? Look at this map control. They're getting out towards long. Flashbang is going to trigger the rotation. 2 players heading up to reinforce. And they've got a good setup to deal with those long plays. So they haven't quite seized the moment, have EG, of the light window. But they still got a decent fight against Jason. If they can keep him isolated. Oh, that looked like it could have been a collab. And now set up on the angle. It's Jason knocking them both down. So this is a catastrophe. This is a disaster. And this one's looking like it's over and done with. Just Hext remains. For him, it might be about damage. That's really the best you can hope for here. And he will not be afforded the opportunity. Upgrade available there for Sacrifice even. And Fluffy AIMERS, that's a commanding round to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Just look at the scoreboard. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Drop the op. That's interesting. They had an op in hand. They get rid of it. They don't want the op?
I think that might have been a mistake.
I would assume so, but no, it's a rifle that's going to be bought over. They don't want the op up against the eco, it seems.
Huh.
Could have replaced it with an AWP, but they're not going to deal with that. So that was a willful command because he picks up the op first and then drops it. So that was a decided choice.
I mean, look, we've talked about it. Players moving away from it, deciding that the op isn't worth picking up. And in this situation, I can't blame them, right? With these pistols coming around those corners, the op feels like a negative in some ways. So, yeah. Seeing the meta shift before our very eyes. 5-0 Fluffy AIMERS. I'm going to look at that scoreboard, though. Learcy is 0-1 after 5 rounds. So 1 death, no frags. Not often that you're going to see that. And, oh, Dia saw the leg.
Oh my goodness, they have no clue. The timing has been brutal here for Junior. They're just spamming to try and hold him in here. Now Dia puts them on red alert, but they're stuck. They're stymied. Unfortunately, it's only one player right here, but they're going to commit in towards B. It's into the meat grinder. Somehow they're getting these kills. There's no way. There were 3 players on site. How have EG gone away with this? Oh, and a goal falls to Hext. He's cracked his own goose egg in this round. Now he's going to get the bomb planted down. So already a fairly successful round, but he cannot close it. Dia too quick in to respond. That's going to be a bomb defused. That was way more than EG ever should have gotten out of that round once Dia's flank came through.
Yeah, it almost feels like Dia's flank helped them, propel them forward, right? They realize, okay, he's flanking. We have to push up. Otherwise, we're just going to die. And they ended up getting a few frags because of it. What were you going to say, Mike? Sorry.
I bet there were 3 players on site. Like, it's the ideal defense.
But those Tech 9s, Mike, it's Counter-Strike too, you know?
True. True. You're right. You're right. It's just tough. Tough.
This is why...
Fluffy AIMERS, though, I mean, it's the 6-0, right? At the end of the day, you could critique that round, but they are winning the important ones, and they are stymieing EG. This is where we need to see some life from the Evil Geniuses, because we just haven't had it so far.
I would love to see more of those quick executes on rifle rounds, because, you know, they can definitely have the firepower. There's no question. Start winning them. There's the nades coming through. Blue spot, no one really there. I think Peeping took a little bit of damage. Actually, no, that was on the other side of the map that he took damage. So not even relevant to those nades. 1:24 on the clock, and look at Peeping. He's already at the bottom of long A. He has a player over at short A. So this leaves, if a player goes down here, A kind of vulnerable unless Fluffy AIMERS sends Sacrifice up, which they could quite quickly. I don't know. Evil Geniuses slowly but surely wrestling away some map control with the use of utility. He is waiting on the angle, hit the shot, falls off, taking a bit of damage, but still surviving.
All good. And Peeping's position out towards long, he's got all this information. He's going to be able to play into the bathrooms, keep that clear. So actually funneled down. Haven't pulled any of the rotates, right? That was a good exchange for the AWP. Haven't forced anyone to move. 35 seconds now. The slow pace of play going to start to cost you. Jason trying to play anti-flash there. Gets caught on the check, so push comes to shove. They do get into the site. Bomb going to make its way over to be planted. Eventually, George catches Peeping on the flank, so this looks a whole lot better now. Dia trying to get frisky. His teammates not on the same page. They're not playing together. There's a gap left here, and as time's ticking away, this could be EG on the board. Ooh, the distraction for Dia. Slams over towards construction at just the wrong moment, and Sacrifice now just trying a desperate campaign. He's gonna back away. He's going to concede. Evil Geniuses will get a gun round on the board.
Yeah, a little bit shaky, but they do pull it off. Honestly, Dia, he was going for the hard clear in towards Monster, and then at the last moment, there's a little bit of a distraction, as you mentioned, and he flicks away. He should have just held the angle, honestly, because if he did, he probably would have won that fight. But in the end, Evil Geniuses do manage to pull it off. 30 seconds was on the clock, and they went for their execute, and it panned out. First round on the board, finally for them. They're down by 5, and the money should be pretty good from Fluffy AIMERS. Yeah, they have plenty of cash to go for a full-on buy-up here. On the other side, well, it's going to be a full buy-up as well. Junior, in fact, running the op here. See what they decide to do this time. There's the nade, Fluffy AIMERS. George catches it, goes down to 53. Jason, after going for that aggressive push with the AG, decides to stick around, throws a smoke into connector to try and gain some control there and force the Evil Geniuses in the opposite direction.
Little to talk about in this mid round here.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot happening, but they have got to play out Monster. Automatic taking this space. And backing out of it. Interesting. Right on the precipice of doing something here. But they are going to shift in towards a B take. So they're going to group, they're going to mass. They haven't really gained anything.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten the picks, but with 45 seconds left, now they're going to make the move. Smoke comes in, that could be a problem. That's going to delay things up. Flashbang, they have to go through it, they know, but they're already on the beachhead. Jason, Learcy getting these kills, and they're just shut down. They're being bottlenecked to being held in. And they've got no bailout at this point. 30 seconds, no more util to bomb down in the dirt. It's a catastrophe for the Evil Geniuses. They didn't have a plan B.
Yeah. Look, a lot of question marks in that round. And Automatic gains so much space into Monster and then falls off of it so they can regroup. I get maybe you're a little bit concerned about a player peeking from heaven, but I mean, if I'm him, either I take the fight or I try to go all the way across Monster into the corner and catch the Fluffy AIMERS off guard where they weren't really defending that spot at that specific time. So yeah, interesting to give up map control, especially when that's where the hit will ultimately come. And the Fluffy AIMERS take a 7th, and they've already won this half.
It does feel like these are some of the issues that we were seeing on Ancient for Evil Geniuses that they eventually sorted out. It's just you're taking a maximum amount of time, but you're not necessarily getting results for it. And these are issues that I mean, this harkens back to a long time within this roster.
Very
right?
A
long time that this has been one of our critiques of this team. Is that they take all the time in the world, but they don't make use of it. If you're going to run everything down to 40 seconds before you hit, get something to show for it. This time they do, because Jason wants to get aggressive, and so out by the fountains, the kill comes in, and now they're taking control off of that. I like this. Flashbang's good. Shot's good. You gain full A control, and there's still a minute 20 left on the clock. So picking up the pace here, catching Fluffy AIMERS sleeping. And now they've pulled the rotate. Now you can make your choice. You've still got presence down outside the monster tunnel of whether you want to commit in or whether you want to back away.
Still, that was scary. If Dia gets that shot off, I mean, two and a half players go down. Alrighty, Walco takes down Peeping, and it is working out much better. You know, gaining this space, like you said, using the time on the clock effectively. I mean, you can run it down, but if you're not gaining space, if you're not lurking, if you're not doing anything with it, then there's really no point. You might as well just execute it at the beginning of the round. Learcy and Sacrifice, last two standing, and this time, I mean, EG can, of course, burn the clock down even further because they have that advantage and they want to keep the Fluffy AIMERS guessing, so this time makes sense.
And it's going to be the gamble stack for the Fluffy AIMERS, as it should be. Right? You're in this situation, you're in a 2v4, play buddy-buddy, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can save the guns into the next round. Full execute comes on towards A, so it will, in fact, not work. The bomb will be down. 15 seconds to spare. 14, 13, come on, fellas. There we go. 10 seconds to spare. They'll plant the bomb.
Oh my god.
All the seconds, John. All the time.
Paid
Sacrifice
by the second.
Here, let's save. Yeah, apparently. Maybe that is the way the EG riders work.
And now we wait a little bit longer until eventually Evil Geniuses will get their second round on the board. And I mean, the reason that one works out is I think obviously Evil Geniuses were peeking around, waiting for the aggression to come through, and Fluffy Aimers that time gave it to them instead of letting EG burn out the clock. So maybe the strategy of making Fluffy Aimers wait and wait and wait for the fights is making them a little impatient, and that resulted in a few mistakes there. Still a healthy, relatively healthy economy here for the Fluffy Aimers. They will be able to get, yeah, they'll be able to get plenty of util. It won't be full for either Peeping or Jason, but everyone else should be able to make up for that. And on the Evil Geniuses side, well, they're starting to build up some bank, but they need to build up rounds being down by this much. There's the monster smoke thrown immediately by the Fluffy Aimers. They do have a lurk here on the Evil Geniuses side. That is automatic, and Dia, what a peek into connector. Hext immediately dropped. Oh, goodness me, and Peeping's over at tree. Is he going to get spotted? Dia gets another one, and then Peeping peeks around and gets two. Oh, my goodness, the sequence, the coordination from the Fluffy Aimers. The aggression is on, and this time, EG has no answers.
Look, I know Peeping got 2 of those kills, but I feel like Dia should get an assist for those as well. He is flying around right now, taking the initiative. I mean, really just creates that round for the team. Look, the blistering peek in towards Khan is one thing, but the kill the Fountain player, that's what actually sells it, because then the 2 long players snap over. That sets up Peeping for the peek, and that's all Fluffy Aimers, getting aggressive with it, changing up the boundaries, and they're trying this every round, right? We saw this 2 rounds ago work against them when George gets the headshot and the first player peeking towards Fountain, but I like that they're sticking to their guns. They're keeping EG uncomfortable. They're keeping them off balance. And the Evil Genius is burning their second time out now as we hit round 11. And this half has just gotten completely out of control.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I just feel like in that situation, you have a couple of players committed to long. You're aware of the possibility of someone pushing up because of how aggressive the Fluffy Aimers are. I agree. Dia did work there, at least earning the attention of one player from long, but both holding that angle. That's where I think maybe EG should have realized, okay, we have to have at least one player watching to see if someone's deciding to push up long, and no one did. That gave Peeping 2 for free, and I agree with you, though. Dia gets the assist there. Not shown on the scoreboard, but definitely he's the reason why Peeping's able to get those 2 pretty much for free. Here we go, though. Round number 11. The Fluffy Aimers looking for a 9th. At the very least, EG with the full loss bonus will be able to fully buy up here, but it's getting so dire. That's a big one to lose. And also, the way CS2 plays out now, I don't feel like Overpass is like how it was on CSGO, right?
No.
Where it's super CT-sided. That doesn't apply anymore.
No, not so much. We wouldn't expect it to be so.
Yeah.
I mean, tough to see with these teams. It's just going to be, you know, it's going to be what it is. But yeah, no, this is dire. Whatever way you want to split it, whatever way you want to cut it, whatever justifications you want to add, you got 2 rounds here on your map pick on the T side. And there hasn't even been anything particularly compelling in those 2 rounds. Here it goes. Slow play in towards B, it seems. Chain flashes. Those are good. Get them around the lip, but they can't get the kills. They can't get the kills. Advantage for the Fluffy Aimers, and the bomb is down as well, so they are fully committed. 35 seconds in they go, automatic. No one's watching for him. That's a lack of awareness. Blunders made from the Fluffy Aimers, and they might just be enough, but Learsey taking the initiative here. Learsey and Dia on the scene now, on the spot. Junior hunting 20 seconds is all he has to make this work, but he's found the first. He's brought it down to the clutch. Molotov was there to slow it up. Junior's going to be able to get these numbers punched in. Dia gets the egg kick. Misses the jump. That would have been tremendous, but Junior's able to back away. Ice in his veins. He slips off the site. Dia doesn't know he's left either. Not a sound was made. So Dia panicking. Wondering where he could be. Isolating the positions now. Making the footsteps.
He's sticking it. He's sticking
Junior,
it. What a play.
Junior, you got to check. And the stick just comes through, and Junior never even thinks, never ponders that he could be on it. Tries to call his bluff, but Dia will snatch that one away. Oh, no. The Evil Geniuses going to be shaking their heads after that one. Just completely outfoxed.
Oh, wow. Pros don't fake, and I guess Dia's a pro now. 9-2. in
But
favor.
reminder, that
of
was
the
a
Fluffy
4v2
Aimers.
on site.
Yeah,
Even getting to that point was close.
it was crazy that they fought their way back. I mean, great work from Junior, but you got to at least have a peak. You got to jiggle.
Gotta close it.
Oh boy. Well, thought it would be a third for Evil Geniuses, but nope, not trending their way at all.
When it rains, it pours for the Geniuses. Their org is centered in Seattle, so they know a lot about that. This is a weird setup for Fluffy Aimers.
Hey,
Trying
look,
to catch
look,
EG
there we
off guard.
go.
4A. Get a free site, rock on in, plant the bomb. FA
That
trying to get
is-
real cheeky with it. Now let's see if they're going to be punished. The nades, that's good. Mortar shot in. Walco out early, so an advantage, but it is a retake. Comes the play around. Automatic trying to take the initiative here. Hexton Automatic. These are going to be the key positions. Automatic, he's burning. But in their pursuit, they lose some bodies to Hexton. George will find the final shot he needs. A third round found for the Geniuses, and we're taking a break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Back in action here with the second half. One final round there for EG, though it was touch and go even in that. Now the Fluffy Aimers with a massive 6-round lead. Can they make a series of this, take us to a third, take us to Mirage?
It's possible, but I feel like that last round for the Evil Geniuses was quite key. We talked about it after I went to the halftime break. The fact is, it was the first time they went for an execute in the first 30 seconds of the round or without less than 40 seconds left on the clock, and the result was a round victory. So we'll see if EG ratchets up the aggression. They are towards mid here. Malcolm gets the opener. Nice little shot onto Dia. And now, Automatic is in a tough spot. Junior helping him out, though, taking down Sacrifice in connector, and still they manage to deal the damage. No one going down for the Evil Geniuses, and this time they're in control of the pistol round.
Don't think a bomb plant's even a thought at this point.
No.
A kill would be nice. Oh, go. Not going to be checked here.
Whoa.
CS2'd. He's got it on the second. All good. Don't worry about that. What you see is what you get.
No. Yeah. I mean, I hope one day that will be the case. But
She sees what you get with Subtick.
Mm,
Everyone knows that. They said it. They wouldn't lie to us.
no, definitely never.
I think he probably still had a little bit of movement and accuracy, but there is some things with Subtick and movement and things not stopping exactly when you think they should, and counter-strafing and ha!
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
I saw something in the patch notes. I'm not sure what it was about, but might have had to do with Subtick. I'm not sure. There were some changes to something network related. I'm not a network specialist though, so I can't really understand some of the jargon they throw our way.
You know, I haven't read today's patch notes yet.
Yeah.
What do we get? I saw the Inferno
There's a lot of
changes.
map changes. Yeah, mostly clipping and things like that. Making
Nade
things
clipping.
smoother.
That'll be interesting, because I have seen a lot more nades whiff back towards you that you would not expect players to make. Junior collecting with just the USP. He is once again not invested into this round, as he did on Ancient, to try and get the op up early. And with 2 kills off the USP, well, that'll go a long way to making it happen. Make that 3 kills off the USP. All right, Junior, who needs to buy guns?
Not Junior.
Not Junior.
Alrighty, there we go. Things starting to return to normalcy here for the Evil Geniuses. 5 rounds found, still 4 back, but definitely their CT side looking a lot more comfortable. They're taking that aggressive posturing towards mid. 4 players again taking the fights. Junior with the USP doing the damage, but here come the rifles for the Fluffy Aimers. Let's see if things change for EG. I mean, obviously they do typically play aggressive towards Fountain. That's the way most teams play Overpass, usually with the AWP going for that early peak, but Junior's actually towards long this time, and some flashbangs being exchanged on both sides at Fountain as the Fluffy Aimers are taking their time, expecting a little bit of a push to come through, which they will get at long A. Junior is waiting. He's posted up. When he peeks around here, he'll probably get one. The question is it one and done? Can he deliver more? He's going to get the information from George soon. Yeah, there it is. Here we go. Nice shot from Junior. There's one. Great flashbang from Hex, and George gets 2 freebies.
All right, here's Evil Geniuses looking like themselves again, taking the initiative, getting the flash peeks in, getting some juice going. You're in the smoke fade. Learsy wants a fight. He's just going to walk it. He's just going to walk. The timing is brutal for Hax. The nade comes out just at the wrong moment. Would have had the player dead to rights if that hadn't happened. Some counter utility on. Hail of flashes.
Oh,
And the Molotov will seal Walko's fate. So a chance at a bomb plant, a chance at the round. It's going so very well. And the nades will make Sacrifice's life difficult, but this one still on the table.
Learsy.
Or the checking it. Automatic's aware that it could be happening. He reads it, but still now this puts George in such a tough spot. Gonna rock in a hard place, and Sacrifice meanwhile has given them the slip. Bomb's no longer planted for them, which he'll know. He planted it. But they have no idea where he is.
Someone's got to stick this. Come on.
George has the kit. There they're going to get on the stick. Sacrifice trying to get on the angle, and he denies the bomb plant. He's won the round. Sacrifice has done it. Insane play there. Gives them the slip and the shot as well. Beautiful maneuver.
I mean, the fact that he was alive in the first place was a testament to his movement to dodge that second nade, because it looked like he was going to be done, but he ends up being the difference maker at the end. And the Fluffy Aimers, despite the fact that I think EG played that pretty well, they just didn't win that fight. Automatic going down in that situation really made life difficult for George, forced him to stay back a little bit longer so he couldn't peek around and see what Sacrifice was up to. And well, there you have it. A 10th round found for the Fluffy Aimers, and great spray from Sacrifice, knowing exactly where that bomb was planted. 3 more rounds for the Fluffy Aimers, and we are headed to a third and decisive map on the one and only Mirage. Mirage. Evil Geniuses are not going to give up yet, though. They are going for a full-on force buy. Junior, still very potent with the Scout, as we saw on Ancient. Smoke going to get tossed here into bathrooms. Molotov as well. That Molotov is definitely towards short 8. Is not off the map, folks. Don't touch the radar. Yeah, doesn't get anything. Automatic. Waits and waits and waits and ends up getting the headshot. 5v4. Another player coming, though, and automatic's good for it as well. 2K.
Evil Genius is looking to rectify the mistake of the last, but Junior's under pressure. He's going to have to give this up. If the bomb were anywhere close to it, I would say this is a guaranteed bomb plant, but, well, the bomb is by spawn, so it's going to take a little while to reroute. GPS recalculating. Recalculating. Recalculating.
This is so long to wait for that bomb.
I mean, at this point, EG have to be wondering what the heck's going on. We
The
lost
smoke's
sight.
gonna
They
fade.
haven't planted. What's happening here?
Ooh.
Fell off the boost. There's the bomb. There's the tick. Now they know. Okay. All right. Smokes are gone. There's not a lot of retake utility. There's a single smoke for automatic. They're going to wait for their teammates to get in towards connector. EG, you have to be a little wary. It took so long to get this planted
Does
that they're
EG have
assuming
a kit?
some sort of trap is set. No, they do not. This was a force buy round, so it's going to get a bit cheeky. Junior can't connect. He can't do it. Can't find the kill he needs, and the teammates from Connector are just here too late. Junior's trying to buy them time, but now into the angle. Jason's on the line, and do they have enough time?
No, they don't.
They don't have enough time. They missed the 10-second mark. They're not going to be able to win this. There will be no survivors today. Do they make it away from the bomb?
I don't think so.
Oh, George just barely does. He's out of there, but it is the round for Fluffy Aimers, and at this point for EG, you can't be losing rounds like that. You can't be letting the advantages slip. You just don't have enough chances here.
That's why I was thinking in my head, look, if you don't have kits, you want to do everything possible to deny a bomb plant, which is why I was so surprised they were playing for retake. Very passive. And waiting, and then having to wait even longer for the flank to come in. Again, no kits available to them, not taking any fights. Very, very odd decision-making in that situation, but, I mean, the Fluffy Aimers capitalized, did the job, won some key fights as well on that site. And some whiffs coming through from the Evil Geniuses means an 11th round found. Now they're 1 away from at least map point. Evil Geniuses will be forcing up again. I just don't know right now, Mike. I mean, that lost round where they had the advantage on the site, right, and they couldn't get the bomb defused, that could be really the round that broke their back.
Could be. There are a few of these. This overpass has been far from compelling in sum total for this Evil Geniuses squad. Frankly, Ancient was far from compelling in sum total. But here comes the strike, here comes the hit. It's the stack as well. 50 seconds on the clock. Fluffy Aimers seem like they're playing their way into the stack, but as I say that, EG is disassembled. They have bailed out. They have rotated. Wow. And so instead, I'm unclear about how many players are actually going to be here to receive them. Two? Two are ready for the fight.
Assuming it happens at any point. Are they going back to A? They're going back to A.
Still have a Molotov on George. I don't know how I feel about this rotation. They got no time for this. They're just going to rock on through 20 seconds. There can be no mistakes, no errors here, but George has brought the utility back down, so there's nothing to stall them out quite. It's all going to be about these gunfights. First one, first contact with automatic. He's down for the count. They have to get this bomb down. So little time. Are they going to be able to do so? They are just barely. Walker wants to deny, but in doing so, he gives up his life. It's a clutch for Hext. He's out by Optimus. Sacrifice is low, but that's all he needs to secure map point. Fluffy Aimers just need one of these next 7, and we're going to Mirage.
That was so risky for the Fluffy Aimers, but I guess in their minds they're saying, look guys, we've been winning most of the gunfights, so even with very little time on the clock, we probably still can pull this off. And it was down to the wire. They still get the bomb planted in the nick of time and win the round. But man, that was so scary for them going for that adjustment. I thought that the B side was honestly still a good hit, but they decided against it. Maybe that Molotov that was thrown deterred them from it and said, let's just go for the full-on rotate. It was crazy. I can't believe they still won it, but they did. And now they have 7 opportunities to close this one out and send us over to Mirage. That is... This has been a crazy turn of events on Overpass. I think the only time that I felt like Evil Geniuses were better than the Fluffy Aimers on map number 1 in Ancient was overtime. Outside of that, the Fluffy Aimers were the better team, and I think they continue to be here on Overpass.
It certainly has been the case. Certainly has felt that way. Felt like they have more of the momentum in their favor. And at this point, I mean, you're going to have to roll this ball up a very steep hill if you're Evil Geniuses. Talk about Sisyphus. You're going to have to do it 7 times. It's not quite eternity, but it might as well be.
The buy-up is so bad too, though. Fluffy Aimers starting to take their time. Once more. Taking a page out of the Evil Geniuses book. Only 1 player on B, though. Oh my goodness. If they go right now, I think it's Mirage. Yeah.
Even with Junior coming in to reinforce, it's just a scout. If they go quick, if they just hit 30 seconds, though, and look at this, 2 players down connector now, but Jason's holding it. He's got the first Junior ripper of a shot. Needed that one to hit. Now they've cleared out the connector presence. You can't rotate. Guys, come on, not again. 20 seconds. What are they doing? They're going. There's even less time this time that they're getting up. I mean, this is insane. Hext is the one who's going to try and deny them out the bank. He just got spotted. Smoke on. Jason knows he's here. He's got the kill.
There's no way.
The bomb will go down. 5 seconds to spare. And how do you mount this retake now with a scout and a salvaged AK? Make that just the scout Junior up against the world, being wrapped upon, down, done, and dusted. He knows there's no chance. He knows there's no way, but desperation will propel him forward to his doom. Fluffy Aimers do it in a commanding victory on their opponent's map pick. I mean, at this point, this feels like it should have been a 2-0 if it weren't for the tenacity of EG on Ancient.
Absolutely. That overtime performance has saved EG in this series so far. They pulled off the map, and it turns out they absolutely needed Ancient more than the Fluffy Aimers did. And I think another troubling sign for the Evil Genius is that usually the Fluffy Aimers center out those 2 players, D and Sacrifice. In this series, no, it's not the case. Everyone looks good. There's no safe haven for EG, no matter where they go on the map. And I mean, if I'm Fluffy Aimers, I feel like I could definitely win this series and propel themselves into the upper echelons of ECL this season.
Absolutely. Stamp yourself as a playoff contender. Yep. Stamp yourself as a team to be feared. And I mean, for EG, there's a lot to sort out clearly, but this is just not been impressive at all from what we've seen tonight. And the Fluffy Aimers looking like they could take this. We'll find out if they can when we come back for our final map after this break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Live and in the server here, Evil Geniuses and Fluffy AIMERS. It's Mirage. It's Mirage. To decide it all. And frankly, the Fluffy AIMERS have looked like the better team all night long. So Evil Geniuses, they need to put something together here, John, to show us they got what it takes to take this series.
Especially on a map where aim is the most important factor, right? Like Mirage, and the Fluffy AIMERS have been better in that regard, like you just said. So we'll see. And they're also guessing right here. Going to the B site. A site was stacked. 3 players on Balcony or Palace. Can't really tell exactly where they are according to the radar, but Automatic's probably dead. He's going to have to hit some really nice shots. And okay, finally does go down his Sacrifice, who gets it. Jason just couldn't connect. And now, well, the B site has been taken completely. Bomb going to get planted, and EG are on a full-on retake. And, well, they're
saving?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
They're saving. They're saving in a 4v5 in the pistol round? Wow. That's a stunner. Talk about an unusual play call here. I'd imagine this means they're going to force in the next using the armor that they've saved. They apparently risked it fully on towards the A play and just decided that, you know, if it didn't work out, if Automatic wasn't able to get something solo dolo on the B side, they weren't going to risk it. They weren't going to play it. So there we go. The Evil Geniuses back away, playing the percentage game here. Now, do they force is my question, because if they don't force here, what was the point? Hex just picked up head armor. Yep, he's forced in. All right, they're going for it. They're going to try and make it happen here. See if that armor's the difference.
I don't like anything about that. I mean, we can try and sell it any way we want. That was just a very discouraging play from Evil Geniuses, and it shows the lack of confidence they have right now in their play. I mean, even down 4v5 on a pistol round, it's still a 50-50. It's a 50-50 when you're going for that retake. You just get a couple of headshots and you're right back into it. So
I mean, I don't think that's how statistics work, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, I'm just saying it's technically a 50-50 chance of pulling it off, in my opinion, based on results in past matches on pistol rounds, right?
So was it also a 50-50 when it was a 5v5? I'm just saying, I don't think that's how percentages work, but I like the idea, John. I agree with you.
All I'm trying to say is they had a very good chance of coming out with the round. That's my main point.
It's the old saying, it either happens or it doesn't. So it's 50-50. Statistics by JRT. I would take that class.
Mike.
Bombs down. This round's over. Not happening. Evil Geniuses, they saved up for this one, but it's not to be. So they'll save again. Keep these 3 sets of armor. Keep these upgraded weaponry alive for the next. And the Fluffy AIMERS up to a very uncontested 2-0 scoreline.
Yep. Fluffy AIMERS up 2-0. I mean, like, what do you want me to say? 52%, 48%? Like, is that what you were more so going for? Like, you want me to be super precise here, or you just?
I was just amused by the concept of it's always a 50-50.
It's not all. Well, I didn't mean always a 50-50 on any situation in pistol rounds. I just meant in that situation, it was still like close to 50% on each side of pulling off the round.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe if I wasn't clear, but yeah, that's what I meant. Anyway, Fluffy AIMERS do have the 2-0 lead. And the Evil Geniuses, I mean, that force up didn't yield much. And again, it makes you wonder why they didn't go for it in the pistol round in the first place. Anyway, look, it might be something that they just end up shrugging off and pulling off this map anyway. But the way things have shaken out so far, it doesn't feel like that will be the case. Smoke's going to get tossed here into the window. A nade as well. Oh, that nade was actually for underpass, maybe? As Dia is pushing with the AK here. Smoke going to get tossed for Cat, so that's going to guise off some positionings here for the Evil Geniuses, or I should say for the Fluffy AIMERS, and window smoke will eventually fade. We'll see what the Fluffy AIMERS decide to do with all of this mid-control gained. Wildco's pushing up. I don't think he's been hurt. He's been walking the entire way. So he could maybe catch Jason if he goes for the complete clear down the A ramp, but I feel like Jason will probably have more of an advantage unless he makes noise, and he does make noise. So that will give Walco an audio cue. The A site's empty though because Walco pushed through Palace. So this is probably a full-on retake with just pistols and only the kit in George's hands.
First casualty finally in with 40 seconds left on the clock. Bomb is down, but Automatic gets an answer with the Deagle. Maybe that's a rallying cry. Walco now finding the poke back in, and this one was not looking very probable, but suddenly it's happening, and Peeping has no idea. Oh, God, Hax gets it. Little touch and go there. Still a chance for Jason, but it's a slim one, and Automatic will put him down. So this one seemed to be the least probable yet, but it is where EG find their footing. And now they'll be able to take 4 rifles into the next.
Counter-terrorists win.
Cash money made for the Evil Geniuses. So their study of statistics has at least seen them in a good spot here, John. If they can keep this going, if they can win the next, all can be forgotten about their decisions in the pistol rounds, whatever it may be.
Automatic gonna eat some damage there, down to 26 HP from the util. Walco's waiting over at the balcony. Evil Geniuses. Oh, that's a good shot from Junior. They need a lot more from him. Walco through the smoke, spams down Sacrifice. Then Junior connects on to Lyracy. Dia and Peeping. Last two standing, but not for long if Junior has anything to say about it. 3K on the board for him. Peeping already spotted out, I believe, at Palace. Definitely heard now as Walco's pushing down the A ramp. Molotov thrown. He's completely trapped. And you have to imagine that they're going to start putting pressure from the other side as well. I mean, there's nothing Peeping can do in this situation. And I mean, look, Evil Genius is full control. Good recovery from them. They will pick up a second eventually here.
One way or another. Walco keeping this fight as far at arm's reach as he can. There's the spot, the shot, the confirmation of Peeping's position. I mean, as much as he might stall this, not really a whole lot he can hope to do. He knows he's bottlenecked in, probably doesn't really want to survive. 1900 loss bonus won't be great. Theoretically, saving his gun would be worth more, but sets him off kilter from his teammates. So in he goes. 10 seconds to it. Hopes of winning the round fast diminishing, if ever there were. And while he will try for a cheeky bomb plant, that was never going to be allowed. I like the optimism, though.
Alrighty. Evil Geniuses finally close out that round. And the Fluffy Aimers are on just pistols into round number 5. This is a much better showing in the early goings for the Evil Geniuses at the very least. I mean, little mistakes aside here throughout the entire series, if they close out and they can get the win, at least they can put that in their back pockets. But there's so much to review from this series for them. I mean, at least they're going to be learning a ton moving forward, and Fluffy Aimers have been a very worthy opponent, and you can see why that they've played quite well over the last 2 seasons. What a wicked 1D coming through from Jason. Automatic exposed, goes for the fight anyway, and swings around for the second. It's still close though. Peeping gets the trade. Walco continues to spam down with the AK. Lyracy only has the Glock, so he can't really peek around as aggressively as he would have with that Deagle. And well, Peeping can't really support from top mid. They're separated. Lyracy, is he going to push the smoke? No, he just wants to lurk around here, see if he can spot someone looking the wrong way. But so far, oh, Evil Geniuses are hanging on here.
They are indeed. Walco will take the space up in towards Palace. The window peak, this is huge. Actually, the kill comes through. Peeping retrieved the rifle. And now, There's a little bit more intrigue into this round. Learcy will not take the time to retrieve the gun, wants to seize the moment. And the right read here from Peeping somehow doesn't die in that exchange. The aim punch too much for him to get his shot off, but the bomb planted out of this circumstance, this is huge, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting a lot of money there for the Fluffy Aimers, and Evil Genius is taking their time going for this retake. Peeping, I mean, low HP, but he does have the AK, and so much pressure is on. Hext has the kit, but he's far away. Has to come through connector, and why are they taking so long? This is so dangerous for the Evil Genius as Hext spots out Peeping, has to clear him out, and does, but I think time's gonna run out. The Fluffy Aimers should have the round. They do. What? Wow, that was another flub from the Evil Geniuses. The Fluffy Aimers, you said it, Mike. Even just getting the plant was great for FA, but winning the round? Wow.
That's a catastrophe. No armor. I mean, pistols. Glocks.
Yeah.
Glocks. That is an absolute catastrophe. There's no other way to spin that. That is a disaster for EG. Slow, patient, calm, hiding away, but their refusal to take contact is their undoing. They just don't have enough time there. They're so wary of losing that they forget to win.
That is a very apt way of putting it, honestly. The confidence issues are so on display right now for the Evil Geniuses. Junior, well, misses that shot, throws the nade afterwards, but I just can't believe they lost that round.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stunner. We'll see if they can wash the taste out of their mouth here. That was the first opportunity missed for Junior, but does at least stymie them in towards mid early. They catch some substantial utility damage. But with the up, hit your shots and it just don't matter that much. It's a big if. 3 players shifting into this apartment's clear. This is such a heavy commit. It's the right read right now. Fluffy Aimers are bringing presence over, but it does mean they're light elsewhere. Mid is basically completely given up. This take's now going on towards A, and they're just pushing apps. This is crazy bold. And now they'll have to force rotate, and so these 2 players in apps are actually hearing this because contact came on towards A, so ironically, despite having the presence here, now everybody's gone when the actual hit does come through. It's just going to be Hexed. Bomb is going to be down. It's a 2v5. Surely not. He doesn't even know they're on. The bomb's just been planted on his ear, and he didn't know it.
I don't... Look. Okay, we'll talk about it afterwards. Smoke's going to get flubbed here for the Fluffy Aimers. But still a chance. Learcy playing very up close at market. Sacrifice waiting at bench. They're trying to burn the time, and why not? Evil Genius takes so long to come out here, and look at this. Bob clears the wrong corner. Sacrifice wins another fight. 2v2. Evil Geniuses can't get on this site. Finally, Junior gets Learcy. Sacrifice
has to be Junior.
Known, and he gets the nade frag. That is maybe in time. Yeah, definitely is.
It is.
That, look, wow. There are a lot of problems with the way EG won that round. Yes, they won it, but I don't know if they necessarily deserve to. Why? In a 5v2, okay, you're up 5v2, you have full control of both sides. You do not need to heavily rotate yourselves towards A, having all presence there except for Hex on Cat, who doesn't hear the drop down on site, doesn't hear the bomb get planted, doesn't even turn around. I mean, there's so many other mistakes. I'm not blaming Hex in particular here. The whole team just had a really weird defensive meltdown, not thinking, hey, let's just keep the 2 players anchored down on the B site, 1 towards mid and 2 on A, because we don't know where the bomb is going to end up. Anyway, very strange. Here's an opening frag for Sacrifice onto Walco. But I think Evil Geniuses are winning despite themselves in that round.
I will say.
Oh, no.
That's, couple kills coming in. They've got A site. They've got all of A. Oh, this is a catastrophe. This is a big problem. Kill on Peeping might make this retake more viable, but once again, the pistols are posing huge problems here. Sacrifice wanted to take the initiative there, can understand it. The bomb's now down. And surely they don't drop this again. Surely not. This gun picked up. Nade damage onto Hex. They're trying to make him uncomfortable. That flashbang is good, and it's lethal as it turns out. It's all on Hex now. The weight of the world on his shoulder as another anti-eco collapse seems to be on deck for EG. Gets the first kill, but it's all about dueling off with this player CT. Bomb's going to be exposed to it. Learcy's calling his bluff. Learcy pulls him off the bomb.
Oh, wow.
1 more shot's all that he needs. He's done it. He's won it. Hex knows it. No survivors will be there this day. And once again, the pistols are enough for the Fluffy Aimers.
Oh, jeez, man. It's just one round after another. Fluffy Aimers could easily be up by more than this, but Evil Geniuses have managed to rescue themselves a couple of times. Still, 4-3 in their favor. Some wicked shots from those Deagles. A little overambitious on the peaks from the Evil Geniuses. I mean, just positioning's odd. And of course, the A site left open again. I mean, obviously the Fluffy Aimers fought their way into it, but still, that was interesting to say the least. Here come the AKs once more. Still enough money in the bank for the Evil Geniuses to muster up a decent buy-up, but Hext having to settle for the CZ. Automatic already smoked off. Fluffy Aimers taking the mid-control this time. Evil Geniuses not going to challenge the same way they did in that previous round. Just... yeah, this is tough to watch in a lot of ways, especially if you're an EG fan. All right, well, Junior's
Nice
still
shot.
delivering.
Yeah, something doing at least. A little bit of juice in a limited round. They've lost George, but at least that op is still at hand. He controls the question. They know where the op is now, so they can avoid it if they want to. Still a minute, plenty of time to play with here. You've got Jason in the Palace Lurk, but it does seem like they're going to try and threaten B. That's not a bad read, right? It's been light presence on B. It's mostly just been Hext anchoring with how slow EG have been to rotate. Can't say that puts a ton of fear in them. It's going to be cleared out here again. If contact's made with automatic, that could be a problem. But as it is, it seems like the B play comes in. Automatic's drop, so never mind. It's great. It's going to prevent the rotations. It's all about this 2-on-1 on site. They lose the Palace Lurk. That would have been the backstab in. But Hext is here. Hext is spotted. Hext is dropped. And with 12 seconds to spare, the bomb's now down. And a really tough retake is on deck for EG.
I think this is a save. There's just no way. Junior
doing it.
completely out of position. There we go. EG going to have to save into this round. Another great job by the Fluffy Aimers, isolating the fights, doing a great work onto B, and oh no, peeping spots out Walco. That means Junior's got an even tougher task on his hands. And I mean, Fluffy Aimers, they can smell the blood in the water right now. They're going to go for this hunt because they know they have the momentum. They've got more confidence in these fights. EG are playing scared.
They certainly are. It's like a wounded animal. The Fluffy Aimers. It's just piling it on. AK. Oh, gotta be enough to take out Junior here. There will be no survivors. There will be no guns taken through. It's gonna be another full eco for the Evil Geniuses. Down to the pistols. Economy in tatters. And at this point, feeling like we might have another Fluffy Aimers steamrolling on our hands.
It's possible, right? I mean, look, a timeout's going to be called here from EG, but you have to wonder how the morale is, the comms are right now. I feel like it might be a lot of silence on their side and not much talking because of the way these matches and rounds have gone. The Fluffy Aimers, they've got the full AKs. I love the way that Sacrifice just stares down at the op and he says, I don't even want this, and walks away from it. Almost like a statement against EG saying, why are you guys running this so much? You should be using the rifles a little bit more. Anyway, look, I'm, again, not saying Junior's a problem. He's still hitting his shots, but there's definitely a shift away from the op that the Fluffy Aimers and a lot of people have embraced. But Evil Geniuses are stuck in their ways right now, and it's showing.
Yeah, they're not taking advantage of any of the things that have characterized early Counter-Strike 2.
No,
they're
not
really not. And it is bizarre to see right now. George wants to get frisky with the P2K. Don't mind the frisk. Don't think the P2K is going to be the ticket. Yeah, is Walco sighted on a pixel there? Nope.
I don't think so.
He's tucked. Yeah. Not going to clear it. The USP will be enough to take him out of play. So, I mean, look.
Whoa,
EG
getting
getting an eco
George
back their own way. This would be good. They did not clear George. In fact, Learcy will go down. This is turning into a catastrophe. Junior gets one.
Here we go.
It's all falling apart. And here's the Evil Geniuses getting one back of their own.
Wow, those were two very poor clears from the Fluffy Aimers. Evil Geniuses, I mean, Walco was tucked in a perfect spot. You cannot see the player in that corner next to the stairs unless you fully commit to a clear. Dia decides, well, he's probably not there, probably in jungle. That was the wrong gamble. And then Walco gets a free AK upgrade. Afterwards, they continue to walk into bad situations. I mean, two players, not one, two, went into ladder room to try and clear it out and didn't clear the top of it to see if anyone was hanging out there. So George gets another surprise attack, and afterwards, at that point, completely falls apart because Fluffy Aimers don't know where to look. And the pistols, dry pistols, pretty much nothing invested in that round, go the way of the Evil Geniuses. Walco is going to take down Peeping, and maybe, just maybe, that'll give the Evil Geniuses the boost they need to get back into this one.
They could certainly use it. Shot in the arm. A little bit of adrenaline injected on in there. But now they got to do it with the guns. They got the advantage. We've had their advantage in so many rounds here, John.
Yeah.
Got to be able to deliver. Automatic under pressure on this smoke fade, but he's going to back off of it. Has support from George on catwalk as well, should he need it. It's a good setup for EG.
Dia. Peering out from connector. Junior. Oh, he gets lit up through the box. Goodness me, Learsey just takes him apart as he falls to the ground. Walco waiting around. Tetris, a nice crossbar set up. Automatic gets 2 out of that before falling. That will help immensely. As long as Walco isn't cleared, and he won't be. Walco gets the last frag, in fact, and we're all knotted up at 5 apiece.
So redemption on the board here for the Evil Geniuses.
Yeah.
I mean, that round, that was also them sticking to their guns, right? They get the initial pick, but they hold back, very patient. Even the slowness of the rotation over from B catches the player off guard. Wasn't expecting Hex to still be in market. So to some degree, it does bear fruit. Tech9's going to be out here. Fluffy Aimers opting for the double force. Instead of keeping anything up for the last round, they'll try and get it done with just the pistols. Look, I mean, they've been doing it with blocks, right? Why not see if the techies will see you through?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a good chance they'll be able to pull this one off, especially towards the B side. Flashes are good. Hex completely blinded George as well. He can't get a frag yet. That's troubling. Here come the Tech9s. George managed to get only one. Hex still alive here around the edge of the smoke and does connect with the headshot onto Dia. He needs help. Junior's here to support, but they're still both in the same angle, so they will eventually, well, Hex goes down. Junior's overloaded. Here we go. Bomb gonna be planted. Another potential force by round. Gonna go the way of the Fluffy Aimers, but there is automatic along with Walco here. Learsey, though, takes down automatic, and it's just Walco who's already been spotted. He is trapped, backed into a corner, and taken down.
Tech9s and a salvaged op. All you need. The quick hitter on B is so tough to stop right now. And every time it feels like EG might be getting this thing under control, might be getting their feet under them, they get swept right back out by the Fluffy Aimers. Now we have 1 round left in this half, 1 more round to compete. And you look at what's being assembled here by EG. It's a P250 for Walco. It's a couple of Famai. This is going to be a tough one. Junior's got the op, though. You talked about it, John, how it's a point of emphasis for this team still.
Yeah. It feels like they're still building the team around the AWP, which is no longer what you see a lot of teams doing, especially in EU. They seem to adapt a lot quicker, as we already discussed. But yeah, it's no longer, having a strong opera, star opera, at least not in the early days of CS2. It's the riflers, it's the entries. They're the stars. George?
That smoke's not where that's supposed to go.
No, not at all.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Missed window smoke.
Was that a window smoke, or was that supposed to be a con?
I think it was supposed to be window, right? For the T-smoke, right?
Yeah.
Usually when you miss T-smoke, it lands right there. Sorry, window smoke, it lands right there.
Well, that would be it. Unfortunato. Junior peeking in towards B. The ops in the right spot. Johnny on the spot for this one. They're going back for the B hit. It's been so successful. But, oh no, Junior's going to miss his first opportunity. He'll get set up for another. They are coming funneling on in. They got a third player here as well. Hex isn't on the scene. Instead, it's automatic, mowing them down as we're looking at a tie scoreline here unless Dia can do the impossible, the incredible, and no way in hell. We'll take a break with the scoreline all tied up and be right back. Back on into the fun here between the Evil Geniuses and the Fluffy AIMERS. One way or another, this one's got to end. Evil Geniuses looking outmatched through much of that, but as has happened for them before, they find the rounds they need to bring it tied up, and so they get another chance here in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're going to see Evil Geniuses come out immediately. There we go. Some aggression on their T side immediately on pistol round. They did take the first pistol, and looks like they're going to get the second one as well. Hex, the headshot on to Dia. Sacrifice, the last one standing, and that will pretty much do it here. Wow, aggressive, assertive take. Wish we saw more of that from the Evil Geniuses, no question, as they will have the lead 7-6. Sacrifice, waiting for a push to come out. Maybe he can farm a little more money. That's the most he can hope for.
It is indeed. Talk about a way to put an exclamation point on the first round. Make a statement here. And EG are, in fact, back to play. Well, you know, I will say, don't know that I love their chances against the default pistols based on that first half. Should be a lot easier.
Yeah.
The Fluffy Aimers are forced to cover all of the map.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. But Fluffy Aimers, I mean, we did see EG pull it off with just the default pistols, right? And a round that was more heavily invested into. So we'll see if the Fluffy Aimers can do the same on their CT side. I think they have to gamble right, first of all, and picking the right site. I imagine they will be sending all 5 to either A or B. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be the B site. That will be the final destination. And so far, I mean, it doesn't look like too bad of a decision. 3 players leaning towards the B side of the map, 1 around mid, but the bomb is dropped outside of A ramp. Well, Evil Geniuses overthink this is
Will they?
Question.
This would be wild if they rotated off of it.
Full
setup for the A take. It would be the most EG round, but surely not. Surely not. You're clearing underpass. You're doing all the things you need to make an A take happen.
It's a good smoke thrown too from the other side. Yeah. Okay.
No response yet?
They're good.
They're committing.
We're fine.
All good.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All good. They've now cleared out
Sure.
all the positions they need. There's no chance. There's no world. There's no way. Even taking first contact, see the player swinging from catwalk. I mean, a little surprised the bomb hasn't been planted at this point, because you are going to run out of your smokes eventually. You got another couple to drop down. They will eventually plant the bomb.
Well, Fluffy Aimers, they do have a couple of, no, 1 pistol upgrade to save here at PT50. They're just playing for exits right now.
There's a very important upgrade. John, you've missed it. On Sacrifice at the bottom of the screen.
Of course, yes. Sorry. Sacrifice is saving the all-important Zeus, folks, if you're wondering what Mike is talking about.
Thank you very much.
That is the best weapon to go for a save on. You can't lose that one, no question.
Put some respect on it. Put some respect on its name. PT50 lost. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, there's the armor for Sacrifice as well, so I guess that Zeus ends up being somewhat important. I don't know. 8th round pound for Evil Geniuses, who are doing a good job coming back here on Mirage and taking some control here into the early moments of the second half. But here come the rifles for the Fluffy Aimers. And I mean, the way Evil Geniuses have played so far, it's been some quick executes. I doubt that's going to last into the full-on buy rounds, though.
I will say, though, if they get a nice second half of Mirage, all that matters at the end of the day is the win. We'll forget all this. They can watch the taste out of our mouths with a dub. Sweet, sweet dub. So an important round early on here in the half. And it does look like they're poised just for a straightforward A exec. Utility's going to go over. They're hitting with 1:30 still on the clock, John. They're giving you what you want. A little momentum, a little speed here, and it's working beautifully. Junior going to be dropped, but in the meantime, they force the ticket player back. Sacrifice can't keep risking this Molotov peep. He's found one. And the bomb still hasn't made its way over. The smoke down on Con should make this difficult. Actually, oh, baller move from George. It's filtered through. No way Peeping reads that. Now the jungle player, they just have to deal with it, but Walco maybe overlooking the position a little bit, brings it back to a 2v2. This is possible, doable. Hex getting that kill means that your jungle position's not going to be revealed either. Sacrifice is low from that Molotov. This is tough. He drops down. Audio cue given over. How's he looking to play this? Whatever it is, Hex will get the better of him. And EG, quick, snappy, fast in towards the site, and it works beautifully.
This is why I get so frustrated with EG, though, because they've got so much talent and they're playing this slow game when they're playing teams like the Fluffy Aimers. Full respect to the Fluffy Aimers. I think they've got some good aimers on their side. And they've played a phenomenal series, but I think EG have that slightly higher level of talent available to them. So take those quick fights, have some confidence, go out. This is what Counter-Strike 2 has delivered so far in terms of the pace that the round should be played at. So why wait so long? Go for a quick hit, take control, be assertive. I mean, here I understand being a little more careful. You're going up against pistols, so they can be tucked in those weird angles, but yeah, that was nice to see. Here, Walco gets the opening frag onto Leersey. Automatic looking for a fight as well. Connector, he spots the toe. I think that was a peeping. Indeed it was. Sacrifice around the corner, trying to peek and get that Deagle headshot. Immediately Automatic going to throw that smoke, which is a good play. Guys is off a lot of map control for his team. And Automatic realizes there's player over at Cat, mollies him off. The thing is, Automatic will have to be careful. He's going up against the smoke. 2 players around it. Great flashbang. Walks right into it. Shoves his barrel into Peeping's chest and unloads. And then, well, everyone else is falling. Only one left. Sacrifice will get one and be done. 10-6 in favor of EG.
Just had to besmirch their perfect record, you know? One extra Deagle shot in there, just ruin it a little bit.
It almost looked like he gave up after. I was like, yep, that's all I wanted.
I got mine, guys. I got mine. He's typing in the post game in the team chat. I got mine. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. This might be over before we know it, right? I mean, this is the beauty of MR12 or the curse of it, depending on your perspective. There's only 3 rounds remaining needed for the Evil Geniuses. If they claim it here, this is the full investment out from Fluffy AIMERS. We're talking about overtime. Talking about a battle back, but Fluffy AIMERS going to try and take the initiative here, and Sacrifice is going to find results early. Walko claimed no answer, and what? That was just spam. I don't know whether the gun barrel was showing around the edge of smoke, or whether there's something, or whether it's just the angles. But whatever it was, it's a thing of beauty for the Fluffy AIMERS, and they're going to double it up here. It all falls to Automatic and Hexed. Their teammates cut down the mid control, betrayed them, and wandering into the connector angle, looking at window is Automatic, so maybe getting ahead of themselves here. EG caught lacking. Fluffy AIMERS, they are punishing. Lucy now has bomb. So even as Hex finds that kill, his chances of winning this are dwindling.
He has to expect Learcy here, though. Come on, Hex. No,
Clearly
no,
doesn't.
No. You're not making that much noise if you expect someone around the corner. And Learcy will get the final blow. 7th round picked up for the Fluffy AIMERS, who have been a little anemic over the last 4, but that's a good sign from them. And over on the EG side, they have a ton of money built up, so they're still okay to go for the buy-ups. Are they going to favor AKs? I'm pretty sure they could afford to not, but yeah, it's going to be the AKs. I like that decision. Junior's good with the rifles too, so I don't see why they have any reason of not running them on that. And here we go. Dia with the AWP. Speaking of Dia, I mean, he was so good in the first 2 maps. 2 and 14. What?
Yeah, it's been odd. He's gone whisper quiet. Jason as well. Seem to have run out of juice. But Peeping gotta be able to hold the line. Learcy getting another as well, but the trades are there. Hexed able to find the kills that he needs, and he has come alive in a big way here on Mirage.
This is it, right? Look, another very fast execute. And yes, they lose some bodies in the early goings. I feel like EG's kind of afraid of, but you've got so much firepower. Like I was saying, Hex comes around, gets a 2K, and you're even numbers, and the Fluffy AIMERS are on their heels now. Trying to come out here and get something done. Dia with the op, not in the greatest of positions, and he's going to fire a shot giving away his spot. Walko comes around, goes down, but the trade is good. Bomb taken away. That's more than enough. In fact, that's perfect. Junior with 2. Hex gets the last. 11-7 for EG.
Now they're right on the finish line.
Yep.
Right on it. There's very little to make it happen here for the Fluffy AIMERS. They're going to get the investment in, but I mean, look at this. 3 players at a minimum are going to be limited. This is such a tough spot to be in for FA. You've had such a battle tonight, but it's a question of stamina at this juncture, and we've seen a couple players have run out of steam, and EG seem like they're just heating up. They're gaining momentum. They're getting faster and faster, punishing those lapses. Walko will be tagged here, but oh my goodness, Walko. Dia thought, finally, I can get one. Finally, I can open up a round. Only to find the business end of that AK. Quick hitter in towards B now. Will be slowed, at least for the moment, by the Molotov. The Evil Geniuses with a man advantage. They're just waiting. They're not hesitating. They're not rotating. They're not panicking. They're just waiting to see what comes their way. And we're getting a push into apps. Peeping's going looking. Junior's on the line. This is a tough fight to win, and Peeping's gone. He goes from bad to worse now. Pressure on the Learcy. A teammate called over, but EG have a minute to toy with them, to let them stew.
Yeah, and in this case, now is when you activate and say, okay, now we're going to burn some time off the clock. Let these guys have a think about where we're actually going to end up. Throw some A smoke, some mid smoke. This is probably going to pull at least one rotation, if not two. Yeah, you see Jason having a peek, poking and prodding, realizing no one's there, and now they realize that the B hit is on. Is it too late? Sacrifice gets one. They don't see Learsy. He's hiding behind them, then Jason gets one too. Oh no, it's falling apart. Still two standing. Walco, 7 HP, lucky to be alive. He drops down, managed to take down Jason. Automatic takes down Learsy. Only Sacrifice left. 1v2 with an op in this situation, not good. And well, his backside gets spotted. That is it. EG still pull it off, Mike.
Just a little too caked up there for Sacrifice. Can't be sneaking around the pillar, and now it's map point, and oh my goodness, look at what they've got to defend themselves with. Barest of bones in this one. I thought when they jumped over the player under the window that could be the moment, that could be the round, but no, even at a disadvantage, EG just seem unstoppable now in this second half. They've only dropped one round this half. One round.
That's wild. I mean, and to think that in the last 3 rounds, what have they done? In the first 20 to 30 seconds, they've gone for a peek. They've gone for an execute twice in a row, going for a straight on execute. That time, it was a quick fight towards mid. And again, they pushed into the apartments to look for more info. This is what we need more from EG. Certainly, I don't mind the slower rounds. It can be mixed in well, but you have to lean more into, I would say, probably like a 65 to 35% ratio in terms of leaning into those aggressive plays. And then you can throw the change-up pitch, which is the slow play now. Oh, it's a breath of fresh air, I think, for the Evil Genius. Well, they're going to lose that fight, but a lot of damage done. And Walco then Junior connect for 2 simultaneously. Junior with one through the smoke into window, and Walco on the connector player. So here we go.
Here we go, indeed. Move on through now. Into where it's gone. It's all on Dia. Can't get a kill. Now pressure on the player. Tucked into firebox. Jason. All that remains of the defense on this site. His teammate not close at hand. Peeping just making his way through CT now. They haven't rumbled Jason's spot just yet. But oh, there's the reveal. Hex knew something had to be up. And now it falls to Peeping to be the hero. 1v4. Get the first. Gonna get a chance here at the very least. George is low. There's a world where this happens. Peeping. Jumping around, trying to spot it on the angle is the op, and Peeping. Well, he's not gonna make it past. 13-7. Evil Geniuses have done it. Look, we're not gonna pretend this was the most brilliant night of Counter-Strike from EG, but they got the dub when it mattered.
Yeah, look, I think that EG needs to have a look at their second half of Mirage and their overtime on Ancient, because those were the moments where they looked absolutely the best in this entire series. Other than that, it was very up and down. They looked lost at times, too slow in their gameplay. And yeah, I mean, just yes, second half of Mirage was so much better. Breath of fresh air. They're adapting. They're finally looking more like they're accepting their fates in CS2 as opposed to trying to fight back the constant push that this meta is putting on them.
I feel like you're feeling vindicated by the faster rounds working out here,
yes,
John. I can feel the satisfaction coming through from that one. What it is at the end of the day is that Evil Geniuses improved to a 4-2 record. They're still very much in contention for playoffs, even one of those higher seeds as well. But Fluffy AIMERS, man, I've been impressed with them tonight. I think I was maybe undervaluing them coming into this, but the record's going to be a little tough, 4-4, but there's talent here. There's legitimate talent here, and with this season, 10 teams make it to playoffs. So it's very viable for the Fluffy AIMERS to make it through, and I'd like to see more from them. I'd like to see them continue to grow into that and potentially challenge towards the end of the season. So that's going to wrap up our show. Another night of ECL done and dusted. We'll see you next week for more of that sweet Challenger League action. But for now, good night, everybody.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.